Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and aspiring entrepreneurs, on behalf of the Ministry of Industry and Advanced Technology, welcome to the highly anticipated startup competition. I'm Mira al-Maheri, and I'm honored to be your MC for this exciting event, where we'll witness the innovative ideas and technology that will be showcased here by our startups. I would like to extend a warm greeting to our audience. Your presence here demonstrates your support to the fellow startups. And before we kick off the competition, I would like to thank our sponsors who have made this event even possible: Aspire, Catalyst, and our industry sponsor, Schneider Electric and Yokogawa, and the support partner, Hub 71. Thank you to all our sponsors. Their support have played a big role in bringing this platform for our startups. I would like also to acknowledge and welcome our esteemed judges. Thank you for having agreed to lend your expertise and time to evaluate the presentation and the concepts today. So I would like to welcome Mr. Ahmed Al-Khouri, Senior Vice President, Strategy and Excellence from EDGE. I would like to welcome Dr. Thomas McCarthy, the Executive Director of Aspire. Also, Dr. Abdelkader Abdelaziz, SVP Technology and Advanced Material from Strata. I would like also to welcome Dr. Hamad Al-Jasmi, Director of Emirates Mobility Research from UAE University. Dr. Ahmed Dabbagh, Director of Professional Services from Mohammed bin Zayed University of Artificial Intelligence. And Professor Phil Hart, thank you for joining us also today from TII, and Dr. Farid Al-Amiri from Moyat. Thank you, our esteemed judges. We really appreciate your time. A few weeks back, we opened the submission for the competition for local and international startup, and we encourage these startups to submit their pitches and their concept and innovations. The response was huge. In total, we received around 400 applications, almost like all around the world, including the UAE, Germany, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, the USA, and the UK, across different sectors, from renewable energy, mobility, AI, agri-tech, and many more. These submissions were shortlisted to just 24 startups who will be presenting here today. To all the 24 startups participating in this competition, I want to commend each and every one of you for your passion, dedication, and commitment. Remember, this is your moment to shine, so give it your all and inspire us with your innovations. Without further ado, let's start our program for the day and welcome the Executive Director of Aspire to deliver his keynote speech. Please welcome Dr. Thomas McCarthy.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm delighted to be here on behalf of Aspire to welcome you, all the startups here, and looking forward to your pitches. Just a few words to begin with on Aspire. Aspire is part of the Advanced Technology Research Council, established just 3 years ago. And the Advanced Technology Research Council is responsible for enabling and developing the R&D ecosystem here in Abu Dhabi, for Abu Dhabi and the UAE. To that end, it is developing the strategy for science, technology, and innovation, and the various innovations and development of the policy support system. In order to push ahead and deliver the sort of transformation that's set out in the vision for ATRC, it has established 3 operating companies. The 3 companies are Aspire, the Technology Innovation Institute, and Version 1. The largest by far and the core operational company is Technology Innovation Institute. It's comprised of 10 research centres with over 700 researchers from over 70 different nationalities, bringing talent together here in the UAE in order to address use cases brought forward so that these use cases can be advanced to proof of concepts and ultimately to the industrialization of the innovations that are developed. The other organizations, Aspire and Version 1, support this endeavor. The role of Aspire is to work with organizations to develop use cases and bring these forward for development with Technology Innovation Institute. Aspire also works and supports research across the university system in the priority areas of concern for ATRC. And finally, Aspire launches and runs grand challenges. We are currently in the middle of a grand challenge in collaboration with the X Prize Foundation to feed the next billion, where we are with 6 finalist teams at the moment developing alternative proteins so that fish and chicken can be produced without any animal fats whatsoever. The semi-finals of this competition occurred in February of this year in Abu Dhabi, and the final teams and winners will be announced in the middle of 2024. We are also operating the Mohammed bin Zayed International Robotics Challenge. We're down to the finalist teams of that, which finals will occur here in Abu Dhabi in conjunction with UMEX in January, February of 2024. And we're particularly delighted to have announced in March of this year the Abu Dhabi Autonomous Racing League. The Abu Dhabi Autonomous Racing League, or A2RL, seeks to combine extreme sport with leaps in technology. So we want to utilize extreme sport in order to bring forward in demonstration the capacity of advanced technology, in this particular instance with robotics and artificial intelligence. The first race will occur in April of 2024 here at the Yas Marina circuit, where we'll bring together 10 teams from all over the world to race in cars that are almost as fast as Formula One cars. So we will have racing cars driven by coding and artificial intelligence in order to race against each other on the iconic Yas Marina circuit. That will be followed by drone racing later in the year and off-road racing. We aim to make Abu Dhabi the go-to place for fast autonomous robotics, and we hope to see that resulting in tangible investments here in Abu Dhabi for the development of robotics and AI facilitated industry. And our final centre, our final operating company is Version 1. And Version 1's responsibility will be to commercialise IP generated and created through the activities of Aspire and through the activities of TII. And in the past week, I guess I should point out that we have just launched Falcon, which is a large language model, which has gone on open access, and which I heard from my colleagues has been ranked as #1 in the world, knocking off Meta from the top of the plan. So ATRC has only existed for 3 years, but we're already world ranking and world acknowledged. We've gathered together here a group of scientists, and I'm delighted my colleague Phil Hart, who leads as Chief Researcher, the Sustainability Research Centre, is on the judging panel together. But it is a space where in a short period of time we have achieved wonderful successes. Over the next 3 to 5 years, things can only grow and get better. So we are so happy to be associated with Make It in the Emirates, and we are so delighted to be associated with the startup pitch, because I tell you, you're coming into an environment where exciting things are happening, and we look forward to hearing your exciting pitches today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Now let's begin the competition by welcoming the first group of startups to showcase their ideas and solutions. Each participant will have 5 to 7 minutes time allocated for their pitch, and the judging panel will evaluate these presentations and provide constructive feedback to our startups. Let's start and welcome the first group, and let's start with Decahydrant by Mr. Arnold.
Thank you very much. Slide down, bit of delay. Good afternoon. My name is Arnaud Lager. I'm the CEO and founder of Decahydron. And today I'm going to talk to you about decarbonized hydrogen. Now, you all know that we have a problem. We have a CO2 problem. Unfortunately, carbon capture is prohibitively expensive. I worked for the last 15 years on carbon capture. On average, it will double your cost if you want to capture carbon. For example, if you're a cement plant, it will cost you $70 per ton to get carbon-free. That will double your cost. There is no unique solution to global warming. There is one solution that a lot of people talk about, and it's hydrogen. Unfortunately, hydrogen pollutes. 95% of the hydrogen comes from gray hydrogen, where you split methane into hydrogen and CO2. And 1 ton of hydrogen will release 10 tons of CO2. And it is the same for green hydrogen in some countries, because in some countries, you've got a state monopoly on electricity. So if you produce green electricity to create your hydrogen, you will have to re-inject it to the grid and use the electricity from the grid, which is not green. In some places, that will equate to 17 tons of CO2 per ton of hydrogen. So it took me about 10 years to try to find a solution to this conundrum. And what we have done is we've created a product that we call diamond hydrogen, where we combine hydrogen production and carbon capture. And we will capture more CO2 than we emit by producing hydrogen. So if you buy 1 ton of our diamond hydrogen, not only you get 1 ton of hydrogen, you also get 25 carbon credits that you can redeem either on the market or to abate CO2 taxes, especially in Europe, as CBAM is coming. Now, how are we going to do that? For the CO2 capture, we are going to use the ultramafic rock in the northern Emirates, because Decahydron is an Emirate company. We are based in Ras Al Khaimah, where a lot of those rocks exist. And this, you can go in the wadis after the rain, and you will see this. The white stuff is CO2. CO2 that has been captured from the air and turned into a mineral. And this is what we are going to do. We are going to reproduce this, but 3 kilometers underground. I worked for years in the oil industry. I know how to inject CO2 in the ground. It is fairly easy. Our unique solution compared to some of our competitors is that we are sustainable. We will not use water. There is other techniques that exist for CO2 mineralization, but you need 25 tons of water per ton of CO2 sequestrated. Ours use none, which means that we can scale up to 1 gigatons of CO2 sequestrated per year fairly easily. And we can do this because the rocks, those ultramafic rocks in the mountains, there's plenty of it. There's hundreds of cubic kilometers. They extend from the tip of the Emirates all the way down to Oman. And at the moment, Decahydron is in negotiation to acquire the exclusive right to sequester CO2 in those rocks. So as I said, we are a UAE company. We are based in Ras Al Khaimah. And if you imagine, if you use our product, let's say you have an aluminum plant somewhere in Dubai, and you know that CBAM is coming, and you're going to have carbon tax. You can use our product. You will use 1 ton of hydrogen that will replace methane, but you can also use those 25 carbon credits to bypass the carbon taxes that is going to be levied on you by the European Union. Now, one last thing. One last thing. I haven't told you where the hydrogen comes from. Our group of geologists, I found natural hydrogen in those mountains. And we think there is more natural hydrogen in those places than there is methane here in Abu Dhabi. I'm the CEO of Decahydron, and I wish you a very pleasant day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arnott. Any questions from our judges? We have a time for one question.
So, thanks for the presentation. It was brilliant and very interesting. What sort of energy are you having to put into the process to mineralize the carbon dioxide?
The only energy we need is to inject the CO2 in supercritical form underground. So we need pumps, basically, but it's nothing different than what we are doing in Al Riyadh, for example, or in ADNOC here. So it's fairly well known. And we can use our own hydrogen to generate the energy to inject the CO2.
Thank you, Mr. Arnott. Thank you for your presentation. And now, all the way from Japan, let's welcome QD Japan, Mr. Tadashi Kawamoto.
Wow, that was good. Great. Actually, great technology, wouldn't you think? That was a hard act to follow. So I'm not going to even try. Thank you for the introduction. Kawamoto-san is actually sitting over there. My name is Koichi Tamura. People call me KT, Vice Chair of QD Japan. I'm going to tell you a story. Since the beginning of time, we human beings have been chasing the sun, right? For what? To harness and store, to extend our life. We have a dream where every vehicle, every house, everything with a surface will be equipped with a thin film solar PV cell. Very simple, to generate energy. Our planet will be self-sustaining society with a gift of solar power. Welcome to the world of QD Japan. We are about pyrite semiconductor PV cell with quantum dot manufacturing technology. We got the rock star scientist here today in the house, Yutaka Tamaura Sensei. That's who we are. Please. He's a rock star around here. I'm going to touch on that later. He's very famous in UAE, in Abu Dhabi especially. Hint, beam down. You should know this, okay? Now, we're going to talk about a lot of things. We want to talk about a lot of things, but we're going to focus on the one most important thing, which is pyrite, quantum dot, and Professor Tamaura, right? Okay, you remember that. That's what I want you to take home today. Now, this noble aspiration, ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues, is why we are here.
Okay, great.
You want to hear more? Of course you do. Applause, applause, applause. You want to hear more, right? So, I'm going to introduce you to my good friend and a colleague, Masahiro Takeda. He's a Chief Strategy Officer of QD Japan. Masahiro, you have the floor and the mic.
Thank you, Katie. Hi, I'm Masahiro. Let me tell you a story. A story of our passion, QD Japan. It began in 2022. Well, it actually began a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but too close to the Milky Way in galaxy and the solar system on the planet Earth. It all began from Professor Tamura with the purpose of contributing energy security of our future. Professor Tamura dedicated his life to living commercially viable technology to bring energy security and sustainability from the abundant solar power. Where are we on this story? Very good question. We have actually invented and developed a more sustainable and efficient technology to convert solar power to energy for commercialization. Our business is about produce, chase, and store. But since we don't have time, I will only touch on the most important thing for QD, which is, yes, Pyrite. QD Cross X lightweight ultra-thin solar film pivot cell made possible by Pyrite semiconductor and quantum dot manufacturing. Why is it so great? It does not use rare earth metals or lead. It's 8 times less costly than conventional silicon solar cell, 40% more higher efficiency of converting solar light to electricity. You can sell this on any surface. This is a state-of-the-art advanced technology. Let us produce, chase, and store together, you and I.
Okay, so it's time's up, but I think we have 2 more minutes, right, for question and answers. I will make sure I put that in. So let me give you 3 things. What does Quantum.Japan mean to you? To you, each one of you. It means, point number 1, revolutionary Pyrite semiconductor. Point number 2. I'm sorry? The question. Now, I wanted to mention 3 things that I would like you to take home. So what does it mean to you? 1, Pyrite semiconductor, manufacturing ability, technology that will bring you to the world leading position in solar technology. Point number 2, it means you will be able to meet climate change commitments. Point number 3, it means more clean tech jobs to enhance social stability. Let it sink in. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you to QD Japan. You have only 1 minute for questions. Any questions from our judges? We have a question from our audience.
Solar energy. Yes, this new technology is the Pyrite semiconductor who takes in the sun ray and most efficiently converts it into electricity. That's what the Pyrite semiconductor does, and it is Professor Tamura's invention. Business is to bring this solar cell to...
Doctor, you only have 30 seconds to answer.
So what Tamura sensei brought, this is actually operational. This is the thin film that converts sun ray into electricity. So this is most efficient, and you can put this on any surface.
Thank you, QD Japan. I think you will have an opportunity to network with our audience and others.
Thank you very much for the questions.
In the break.
Appreciate
Thank you, QD Japan. And now let's welcome for pitch 3, the food engineer, Ms. Ghaitha Bahmed.
Imagine a world where the UAE is self-sufficient in agriculture production. A world where technology allows us to grow fresh fruits and vegetables in our home, villa, restaurants, schools, and hotels. A world where the aromas of fresh produce fill your living room, hotels, and restaurants. A world where everyone can reconnect with agriculture. This vision drives the food engineer team, and we are working every day to make it a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present the food engine, a labor of 7 years of R&D. My name is Rita Bamad. I am the founder and CEO of the company The Food Engineer. I'm a food engineer by training, and I have 10 years of experience in the food industry in Canada. 2 years ago, I moved to Dubai, get a champion team, including Mr. Sulaiman Al-Suwaidi, which is a UAE farmer, and 3 engineers. And we set up our first aeroponic farm in Dubai that produced 10 tons of vegetables per year. We want to be a part of the solution to the problem of importing fresh produce in the UAE, waste of water, and lack of arable land. We want to serve the National Food Security Strategy by 2050 and the net zero by 2050. The UAE imports every year $1.5 billion in fruits and vegetables, ladies and gentlemen. The MENA market for indoor farming has a CAGR of 24% in the region. And people want to eat healthier ingredients. There is a market of 40,000 tons of premium and healthy fruits and vegetables per year in the UAE only. That's why the food engine chose aeroponics. This technique consists on spraying water and nutrients directly onto the roots, delivering to the plants everything they need to grow. No soil, no pesticides, maximize the crop yield, and save water and fertilizer. You may ask why we chose aeroponics. According to Abu Dhabi Food Control Authority, aeroponic allow us to reduce water usage by 95%, fertilizer usage by 85%, and increase the productivity by 300%. We have mastered this method at the Food Engine, and our mission is to make it accessible by installing our low-tech, low-capex, low-maintenance, user-friendly, and scalable and sustainable solution as close as possible to the end consumer. We provide the necessary support to our customer to grow pesticides-free product using minimal space and water. To achieve this, our journey began by designing 5 types of aeroponic tower that help us to hold 264 plants. Each tower has its own irrigation system and rotation system. The towers are made by a thermoforming process that enable us to manufacture and assemble our towers here in the UAE. These towers are only the aeroponic support for the plants. We also provide control system, automation system, and optimal nutrient recipe to our customers. This enables them to produce all year round and adapt their infrastructure into agriculture space. So in summary, what makes us stand out from our competition is that we manufacture our own towers. We use an aeroponic technology that can be done indoor and outdoor. And we offer continuous support to our consumer that help them to deliver predictable and standardized product. Regarding our business model, our main activity include installation, infrastructure creation, R&D facilities, training, and offering continuous support to our customers after sales. This allows us to offer a wide range of product, residential towers for individuals, educational towers for school, set of 4 towers and more for supermarkets and restaurants, and also a complete aeroponic farm to our clients who wants to set up to transform their infrastructure into indoor farm. We also provide product sales services to our customers through our partnership with the e-procurement platform Watermelon Market, ensuring them an extra income and no product waste. Our farm in Al Khawanij was visited by Al Dahra, Aghdiya, Silal, which are ADQ owned, and we are also in discussion for piloting high-value crops such as strawberries and blueberries before planning farms at scales. For our community models, we are a part of the 7th cohort of MAN, the Authority of Social Contribution, as well as Dana Venture Builder, who introduced us to decision makers, as well as our partner, Mr. Sulaiman Al-Suwaidi, who has a wide network of farmers here in the UAE. So far, we brought an inventory of 70 towers ready to be deployed and have proven our technique here in the UAE for the past years. Our molds are ready to serve the market segment that we have identified, and more important, we aim to produce our tower here in the UAE using our thermoforming process. So far, we have secured 600,000 dirham in investment, and we continue our financing round asking for 1 million dirham for 5% equity. For 5% equity, we have R&D project for blueberries and other crops, sales campaigns in school, and more important, manufacture our towers here in the UAE. Please keep in mind that the global population is increasing. We will need to produce 70% more food to feed this population. The food engine is a solution for the national food security strategy with our low electricity consumption of 8 megawatt per tower per year to produce 1 ton of vegetables per year, 1 liter of water per tower per day. We are a part of the solution, and we will carry our mission until the end. Thank you very much for listening today.
Thank you, Ms. Ghetha, for your presentation. We don't have time for questions, unfortunately. Let's move to the next pitch. Let's welcome Mr. Salman Zimarrat from Fuse EV.
Hello, good afternoon, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Salman, the co-founder of Fuse, and I would like to talk to you today about electric vehicle conversions. Climate change is the biggest challenge of our time. Experts agree 25% of all transport, of all CO2 is caused by transport. But those experts also agree electrification is one of the solutions. However, in the UAE, we have unique challenges. Electric vehicles don't do as well in warm climates, and our environment of high temperature and humidity poses quite a challenge for them. Also, the lack of options in this market. If you're looking for a crossover or a sedan, you probably find options with Tesla or some of the others. Try looking for commercial trucks, 4x4s, pickups, and those are not yet in this market. There is a lot of interest in electric vehicles. If you look at the graph on the right, Dubai has tripled the number of electric vehicles on the road. And now, 1% of all of the UAE's market is EV. So there is demand. But we need affordable solutions that can reach the mass market. And we need those for the commercial sectors and specialist sectors. Which is why I'm proud to introduce Fuse. What we do is we convert existing petrol and diesel vehicles to electric. We are leading research and development of electric vehicle conversion in this region. When it comes to the 3D scanning and the reverse engineering that we do, the CAD and all of the software development and the hardware development that you see there is actually all happening right here in the UAE. The process, how do we do it? So the first stage, as you'll see there, one of our Hilux pickup truck conversions, is that we remove all of the existing petrol drivetrain. That would be the motor, the engine, the fuel system, and all of the driveline. We then reverse engineer, as per the second picture, which is a Mercedes 280 SE that we're doing. We reverse engineer a system that will fit in the old compartment, reverse engineer drawings, and make a customized new system for that vehicle. And then finally, we fit it and we test it, as per the last picture. We're not only working on regular cars, we're actually doing a bunch of commercial, military clients, which are actually those two that we have going on, apart from classic cars, where people want to extend the lifespan of the vehicle that they have without the hassle of maintenance. And we're doing several old cars like 70s and 80s Mercedes, and a couple others. We are one of the top firms in the region that has gotten the recognition thanks to the UAE. We have been featured in the National and a lot of the other newspapers. We've been supported by Ma'an in Abu Dhabi, just like Geeta and the food engineer. We've come out of cohort 7, and we're working actively with Sharjah Research Park and the RTA to deploy on commercial fleets. This is not something that's unique to the UAE. It is a trend that's going on globally. In fact, everything from garbage trucks that are being done by Lunas in the UK to EVPA and electrifying their safari vehicles for African safaris. Electrification is the name of the game. And this is becoming the norm in a lot of sectors like mining, specialist sectors. If you just look at the UAE, the entire market is about 8.3 billion. And we believe that we can capture at least 124 million in the UAE alone. But as I've told you guys, that we're already going past that, and we're servicing the entire region with customers out in Jordan, in Yemen, and across the UAE and the region. One of our USPs is that we offer to do both commercial and individual customers with the shortest lead spans. Even though we're working in an actively competitive space, we believe that we have our USP in being able to offer a vast range of solutions to anybody. And currently, at 8 months of operation, we have already made over 1.3 million dirhams of revenue. And we hope to achieve almost 1.8 million by the end of the fiscal year. Our team is a small but passionate team. We have about 4 decades of experience. I have worked 7 years in the electric vehicle industry. This is my 3rd EV startup. My partner, Mihai, has worked 20 years in IT. And so combining that expertise makes us quite a formidable team to be able to deliver on this promise. We aim to do about 900 conversions by year 5. That's our plan. To generate approximately about $31 million worth of revenue, or just over 100 million dirhams of revenue by year 5. Our ask is $1 million for a safe round with a cap of about 4 million. And we intend to use it mostly to build up our expertise. Sorry, that's quite small. It didn't export well.
Mr. Salman, thank you for your pitch. Let
Thank
us
you.
allow the judges to ask any questions.
Thank you.
Any questions from our judges? Yes. We have a question here.
Hello. Hello. Yeah. Okay. I have like a Toyota Camry, 1990 model, for example. How much would it cost me to convert it to an EV?
So normally when you're looking at EV conversions, we can offer a conversion of 40 to 60% of the price of buying a similar car of an EV. So a Camry would be like the size of a Toyota, like a Tesla Model 3, which is about 160, 170. So our conversions would be south of that, maybe somewhere in the 80 to 100,000 range. It is expensive, but I believe that it makes a lot of sense on the TCO, which is the total cost of ownership. So if you look at it for a fleet solution, for commercial, for example, running it over a span of 3 or 5 years with the entire solution actually leads to a 20% reduction in your total cost of ownership. So it is cheaper to run.
Thank you, Mr. Salman, for answering the questions. We're running out of time.
I have only one question here. I saw hybrid.
Yeah.
And you are talking about full electrical.
Yes.
Can you explain about hybrid, please, how you converted from normal mechanical motors to be hybrid motor?
We do a fully electrical conversion. So we basically take out the engine and the powertrain, and then we swap it for a totally electric powertrain. Hybrid is something we are not yet doing, but it's something that we could be offering in the future.
Yes? Yeah.
Yes, so we are following exactly the same process and procedures that are being followed in Europe and in the US. No, we're working on the certification. So we're, in the UAE, we are pre-legislation, and we're working on the legislation with the Ministry of Industry here to be able to pilot the project and then bring it into regulation for commercial vehicles.
Thank you, Mr. Salman, for answering the questions. I believe when we have the break, you can have more insightful conversation with the audience. Thank you, Mr. Salman, for your pitch.
Thank
And
you,
now,
judges.
Let's welcome for pitch number 5, Race Energy, Mr. Alistair.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today. I am the CEO of Rise Energy, a company specializing in decentralized power. Often when we think about renewable energy in this part of the world, we think about solar. But of course, we are also blessed with wind in abundance in many countries. And Rise Energy is a manufacturer of small wind turbines in the kilowatt range, compliance with IEC standard 61400. When we look at the generation of power in a decentralized basis, our specialization is in integration of wind technology with solar, incorporating also where required energy storage and backup generation. And today we're here presenting in Abu Dhabi as an Abu Dhabi company. Our holding company, where all of our intellectual property is owned, is incorporated in ADGM, and our operating company for our international markets is also incorporated in Masdar. Currently, we have our manufacturing in Europe, and we are considering expansion of that manufacturing to meet the demand of the market, which is substantially increasing as both energy costs increase and resilience of power is required in many applications. When we look at those applications, we see it in a number of ways. We see now economic drivers for self-generation of power. We see security of power being required, resilience, and we also now take into consideration environmental benefit. This is a huge change in the market from a few years ago where environmental was the driver, but now economics are the driver for the business. In terms of comparison to solar, we do not see solar as a competition. We see it as a technology which is complementary to wind. Solar generation is limited, obviously, by the solar cycle. And when you look at seasonal variations and also daily variations, the two technologies are very compatible. When we look at operating cost reductions, again, hybridization of both systems gives you excess generation out of the solar cycle and also minimizes energy storage requirements. Both technologies are clean and sustainable. And also because wind is built vertically, we can optimize space solutions. In terms of manufacturing in this region, it's also very interesting because as the supply chain expands, many of the materials used in manufacturing of wind turbines are readily available here. Our body of our turbines is aluminium, and we now look at cast aluminium based upon UAE manufacturing of aluminium. Composites are a very important part of the product manufacturing, and again, we're seeing the value chain extending into that area here within the UAE. Based upon other industries, of course, it could be aerospace or it could be high tech for automotive, but also we see that expansion of the supply chain being very important in expanding our business into manufacturing within the UAE. So as a UAE company, we're looking at a homegrown industry story. We're looking at job creation here within the UAE and meeting the UAE manufacturing targets. We're using the UAE, as it's always been, as an international base for business. And we see an investment opportunity for us investing into the country, not looking for money from the country. The applications for our technology are widespread. We already have more than 4,000 sites operating around the world. And as you can see, decentralized power is applicable in many, many applications, from community power to telecom or security infrastructure. We were very proud to be heavily featured at COP27 last year through the Suez Canal Authority, who are installing 60 of our systems within their critical infrastructure for the command and control towers and radar infrastructure within the Suez Canal. And we look forward to finding an application within the UAE to also feature within COP28. When I say we're looking at investing into the country, we've already raised our funding round as a technology supplier to internationally expand. We received that funding only 2 months ago from RWE, one of the largest utility companies in the world, who are already very well advanced in terms of investment into the UAE through their relationships with ADNOC and Masdar. And with Masdar, they've already co-invested in large offshore wind farms, and their investment is now into our company as a small manufacturer of wind technology. Looking at the applications, you can see here from telecom, community power, oil and gas applications for small decentralized uses to displace diesel. And our pride and joy within the Middle East area is our relationship with Suez Canal Authority for their command and control infrastructure. Thank you very much. I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Al-Stair. We have 1 minute. Our judges, do you have any questions?
Thank you very much for the presentation. Did you scan the geographical map of UAE where the spotlight of the wind that we can be relevant with your solution?
Wind is not a uniform resource. So within the UAE, within Western region in Abu Dhabi, offshore with some of the ADNOC platforms, in the east coast around Kalba Khofakan area, Hatta area, as you probably know, DEWA are already looking at wind technology on a large scale for grid connection there. So within the UAE, we have a limited number of applicable areas, but we also have global companies such as Etisalat here with their telecom towers across multiple countries, and many other companies which are based here, which are our target customers. So it's not just within the UAE, we're also focusing internationally from the UAE.
Thank you, Mr. Al-Stair, for answering the questions.
Sorry, just
yes.
one very quick one, if I can squeeze. Do you still consider yourself in the startup stage, though? I mean, with 4,000 systems implemented globally, and is this the right forum for it?
Well, we were invited and we were selected, so I assume it's the right forum. In terms of startup, yes, we may be Series A, for example, but we are also looking at very large-scale deployment where energy as a service could be applicable, which will require larger scale investment. So therefore, we still consider looking for special purpose vehicle investment for deployment of energy or power as a service applications.
Thank you, Mr. Al-Stair, for answering the questions, and thank you, our judges. Now, let's welcome pitch 6 for the day, for the first group, all the way from Japan, Mr. Hisashi.
Hello, I'm going to talk about Enepon. This is a battery. So this is my company. We are in Kyoto. We are 30 people company. The battery for electric vehicle is produced like this. First, battery manufacturer built a new battery, and in this process, there's a lot of CO2 emission. Then they sell it to EV company. EV company or EV user use the battery, and after 70% remaining energy density, the battery will be sent to the recycling company. Then reduced to the raw material, go back to the battery manufacturer. So what the Connex want to do is, we want to build a energy storage system using used to EV battery, battery repurpose, that's what we want to do. This method is cost-wise, make very sense, But more importantly, any pond has a zero carbon footprint. So that's a benefit. Then after we use any pond, capacity decreases to 30%, then we'll send back to the battery recycler. Okay, I'll pass. So it makes very sense. Renewable energy stored in any pond, then support manufacturing, EV manufacturing, other manufacturing, or EV charging. We can use this clean energy. We can make grid very clean. But there is a problem. EV battery, typically 350 volt, and the energy storage beyond 1,000 volt, very high voltage. EV battery cannot be connected in series because the electronics inside this EV battery is designed for 350 volt. It cannot stand over 1,000 volt. So Connex has a technology. We call it bind battery technology. First, we connect the EV battery in parallel. Then we connect 350 volt lead acid battery, very small quantity, 10% of entire energy. By doing this, a lead acid battery works as an external voltage source. So EV battery is now being operated under 350 volt environment. After we create this parallel group, we connect in series, create 1,000 volt battery or 3,000 volt battery. Very simple technology. We have a patent in Japan, Europe, and USA. It's established. So we are the only company can do this kind of simple as-is EV battery use ESS build. Let's see. Okay, we can pass this part. Okay. So I want to show you the business outlook of the Enepon. So battery companies sell new battery about $240 per kilowatt hour today, approximately, to EV companies. Then after use, capacity still remains 70%, 80%. We can purchase this battery, used battery, $30 per kilowatt hour. Then we build Enepon. All we need is screwdriver and forklift. Then we can sell it $180 per kilowatt hour. Okay? After we use the Enepon, finally we sell it to recycle company at $15 per kilowatt hour. So altogether it becomes, if we build 1 gigawatt Enepon per year, our profit is $165 billion per year. So if we want to build Emirates Enepon company here, but I really need 2 contracts. First contract is we need to secure the supply. So we want to contract with the EV user, EV producer, EV suppliers. This contract ensure I can get material used EV batteries. So I'm looking at a bus operator, like an airport bus, or EV truck operator, like a FedEx in Emirates, or taxi. Okay? So those are first contract I need. After that, I'd like to have other contract with the power company or renewable energy producer, like a PV farm operator. They need an energy storage device, and I want to have a contract. We can procurement contract. We can supply low cost, zero carbon footprint energy storage. So.
You have 1 minute.
Okay,
Mr. Hisashi.
that's my talk. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hisashi, for the presentation. Any question from our judges? We just handle the question from our judges, and the startup can network with all the audience in the break. Okay? We have questions. Please go ahead.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you well. We can talk after.
We can have this
latest.
conversation in the break. Let's get questions from our judges, please.
It's only one question. Did you look at the market, the competition here in UAE, if you have similar solutions are already implemented?
Here in UAE, I don't know, but I went to the conference in USA last February. There are a lot of reuse battery companies. And my observation, there are many people try to reuse, all failed because it's too expensive. It's expensive than new battery. Why? Because they have to open the box and they have to replace BMS and they have to reassemble and they have to qualify it. So I don't do this. My way is as is, lowest cost.
Thank you, Mr. Hasashi, for your presentation. Now I would like to thank our first group of startups for their amazing presentation, and thank you for our judges to evaluating this presentation. Before we move to the next group, we will be taking a short break to allow the judges to finalize their scoring, and we'll resume back after 15 minutes. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'll resume our second session now. Welcome back to the competition. We hope you had a refreshing break with insightful conversation and networking opportunities. We are thrilled to continue the second half of our first session. So let's start with a keynote speech by the VP Strategy and Government Affairs from Schneider Electric, Mr. Ayman Ismail.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. Hello, everyone. It's always hard to come on the stage after the break, so thanks for your attention. So there's a saying that there is always a first step, and this is taken by leaders. There is always a second step, and this is taken by followers. And there is always a leapfrog, and this is taken by makers, startups, entrepreneurs, and innovators. Honestly, we are so happy and proud to witness the Make It in the Emirates Startups competition today under the leadership of the Ministry of Industry and Advanced Technology, with the startups in its core. And our role here is just to enable and to ask you one question: how we can serve you more. The startup revolution has always been associated with the web revolution. With the web 1.0, we had seen lots of mobile apps capitalizing on the powerful capacities of smartphones, which was the read revolution of the web. With the web 2.0, which was the read and write, we had seen the rise of the social enterprises, the social platforms, and currently we are living on the web 3.0 revolution, which is the read, write, and own. And this is why we see lots of startups coming with technologies around energy, and we had seen a lot in the morning in the previous session, and we are excited to see more. And we are seeing as well a lot of startups around the AI and the likes. We had all seen like what ChatGPT, for example, can make. Allow me to share quickly like a personal story. In 2013, I was honestly extremely inspired by the startup revolution that was happening in my country, Egypt, at that time. While there was challenging in education, we had seen a startup rising called Nafham, which built an education platform depending on the crowd and launched the curriculums of the Ministry of Education. And today they are serving more than 2 million students all around Egypt. We had seen as well the first made in Egypt CNC hardware machine. And we had seen a lot of startups rising like that. We had seen as well the angel investors network being built. We had seen lots of co-workings being raised. At that time, that inspired me and some of my friends to write a book that was called Entrepreneurship in Egypt from Evolution to Revolution. I'm not here to sell the book, but the reason I'm sharing that is that at that time, we took a forward from someone who is like legendary for us. His name is Christopher Schroeder. If you know him, he was running Washington Post Newsweek, and he was the author of a book called Startup Rising: The Revolution Remaking the Middle East. Honestly, while preparing for this speech, I couldn't find better words than what Christopher Schroeder has shared, so allow me to read them quickly for you. In a world of wrestling and significant economic, environmental, and social unrest, there is an unprecedented ability for this generation to connect with each other, collaborate, and build opportunities. So while others look at problems such as education, health, recycling, climate, and expect top-down solutions, this generation refuses to be written off. They solve problems bottom-up because they are capable, pragmatic, and because no one has a better stake in what these solutions will bring in the future than themselves. In Egypt, the region, and all around the world, there is an unprecedented opportunity to embrace entrepreneurship. This phenomena is a new way of problem solving, opportunity building, economic growth, development, and empowerment for women and men everywhere. We can choose to ignore it, but it's happening anyway. Nevertheless, the future builders are eagerly working, and we must say, we salute you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ayman. Now let's welcome the second group of startup to pitch their ideas and concepts. And let's welcome Maestro Hub all the way from Turkey, Mr. Yasser.
Selamun Aleyküm. My name is Yasir Tuncer. I am the CEO of Maestro Hub. It's a single source of truth industrial data governance platform. I believe you are all familiar with this picture. Digital transformation enables sustainability transformation. However, there is something that is not told. Under the iceberg, we have exponential integration effort, time-consuming data preparation, and highly skilled workforce dependency. We are spending millions of dollars on digital transformation. However, we are not getting the results we want because each application is isolated, have individual interfaces. Let's assume you would like to connect a new sensor. You will be integrating this with the PLC, asset maintenance management system, maybe even manufacturing execution system. It's not just one integration. This creates an exponential integration effort. On average, a company with 1,000 employees spends more than $1 million on integration cost, and every year it gets worse. On the other hand, furthermore, the decision-making requires clean data. However, even though with the integration we are trying to complete the pieces of the puzzles, these are not quite fitting. IT professionals roughly spend half of their time on non-value-added activities such as preparation, searching, quality assurance, and we don't have that much data scientists as well. Manufacturers are especially struggling to attract highly skilled workforce. In 2021, Gartner study shows that the biggest adoption factor for emerging technologies has risen from 4% to 64% as the talent shortage. Every day, the unmet demand is increasing. The solution that we provide is a single source of truth industrial data governance platform. It's a digital infrastructure where anyone, any system can access the real-time information. Rather than point-to-point integration, we create a smart data layer where each of the connections can be established in just minutes. We are decreasing the integration cost by 80%. Also, we are changing how the data is actually contextualized. Rather than collecting all of the data sources, before sharing with any application, we, with our pioneering technology for real-time automated contextualization, create smart data packages. We don't have to clean data anymore. It becomes history with Maestro Hub. How about shortage of talent? We got you there as well. We are doing all of these with drag and drop technologies. Anyone without prior software experience, without scripting, can create their own analysis. We turn every employee to citizen analysts. This is what it looks like. On the left, you see the point-to-point integration, usually the infrastructure we see, storing every data in its historical databases, connecting every data sources to each other, and requiring highly skilled software experience. You need to update all of these with scripting capabilities. On the right, you see the pioneering technology, the single source of truth, where each of the data sources is seamlessly connected. You can contextualize your data, your IT data, your operational technology data by just saying, okay, this is the data I want from this system. You can map your energy cost with the production data, you can calculate carbon footprint, you can create your digital product shadow, and so on and so forth. And how it works, basically we have 4 modules. In our Connect module, we create bidirectional communication with more than 30 industrial communication protocols. Our aim is no data should be left behind. We create smart data packages where we have contextualized information from several data sources, as well as a semantic hierarchy where your current state of the business can be reflected in real time, and govern the flows with just drag and drop features. We deploy in 1 hour, connect in minutes, and you can scale it without any limitation. Now I will be sharing a video, a 15-minute work actually, completed in 1 minute. This is done with a 1-week onboarding process by one of our customers, and they will be calculating their carbon footprint. In the Connect module, we create with bidirectional communication data connections. And in the Compose module, we say, okay, these are the data sources, define data types, link this with the inputs we created in the Connect module, and you can ensure your data quality with just 1 click. In the Orchestrate module, you have the complete control on your data flows. When to send data, which system should be the endpoint. You can create your rules. You can code when you need, no code when you don't. You can create all of the rules by drag and drop features. And you have the complete access of your data lineage from end to end. Also, you have the semantic hierarchy for multiple site operations. You can visualize your data in our dashboard structure and deep dive every detail to optimize your processes. Only Maestro, with its self-diagnostic capabilities, provides which data has been broken, which endpoint couldn't receive, and provide details for you. You build the infrastructure first, then transformation. So we are welcoming UAE manufacturers to join team in transformation with Maestro. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yasser. Now, any question from our judges? Okay, we can continue with the next speech. Thank you, Mr. Yasser. Now, from UAE, let's welcome Mr. Ali Hamadi from Farman.
Assalamu alaikum. In Star Trek, the Starship Enterprise encountered a planet. And within minutes of arrival, they conclude that this planet is in the pre-industrial, pre-fusion era. But how do they do that? Well, it's all based on energy outputs, carbon emissions, and ground observation. Now, imagine such power in the palm of our hand. Assalamu alaikum, my name is Ali Hamadi, co-founder and CEO of Farman. Now, imagine instead the traditional cost, time, and the human resources needed to monitor a city, such as Abu Dhabi. Such things come with enormous tag, evident here. In Farman, we use frequent high-resolution satellite images, along with 3 in-house developed capabilities: AI, super resolution, and spectral signature, to provide the same analytics, which is way more efficient and with a fraction of the cost. Here is an example of the project. This is a 50-centimeter imagery of Mohammed bin Zayed city, and here are examples of solutions. This range from finding any particular object of interest to finding changes, even if the change is smaller than the size of a car. So the green region here, you can see, represents some visible change. What traditionally needed months of manual surveillance now can be done in minutes. But we don't stop here. With our data fusion and spectral signature capabilities, we can go beyond the visible spectrum, deeper into finding invisible information. From multispectral to hyperspectral to radar to thermal, which allows to find many hidden information. And finally, to complete the puzzle, very bad resolution here. Finally, to complete the puzzle and power, we have developed in-house super resolution. Here is an example of the power. So here maybe it's not very clear what the dots are. And afterward, you can see what does it reflect, right? Similarly here, maybe it's not very clear, but afterward, you can see that probably it's an Nissan. And most importantly, that the time is now perfect from 3 angles. One side is satellite, the other side is AI, and finally that we have the region interest to build all of these capabilities. In terms of the market value, there is a huge market, especially here in the region. Over the last decade, this has grown substantially. And our focus is actually here on the GCC region, built by local capabilities. This is our process. We take the imagery from partner, and we provide our insight to the end customers. The business is based on subscription per use case and per area. This is reflected to traction. So we started end of 2020. We have grown substantially over the last year, and we are on path to reach $3 million this year, inshallah. Our strength is in our knowledge of the area, exclusive data, super resolution, in-house developed and research algorithm, and most importantly, in our team. I am Ali. Nick here is with us from UK. Both Nick and I are based here in Abu Dhabi with a previous experience in AI, in space, and building startups. Abdullah is based in Riyadh, and he's leading our expansion in Saudi Arabia. Here are some recent news that I wanted to share. The reality is the answer to many of the questions that we seek are hidden behind those pixels. And we are on a mission to create the power of Star Trek machine. Join us in enhancing the geospatial intelligence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ali. Any questions from the judges for Farman?
Yeah, Ali, first of all, congratulations since last time we saw you. Where do you see most of the growth now? Is in urban planning, for example, or?
In terms of traction?
Yes.
Actually, most of the use cases or most of the traction that we see is coming from 2 sectors. It's from the maritime, as well as from the security and defense aspects. But we do work on agriculture, if you recall, as well as in the urban planning.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Ali. Thank you. Now let's welcome, for pitch number 9, Ms. Jessica and Mr. Vivek from Olive Gaia.
Climate change, the greatest collective challenge of our time. State and non-state actors are urged to take aggressive and rapid decarbonization action in order to keep global warming below 1.5 degrees. And while pressure and scrutiny is mounting on organizations, we're witnessing a massive gap between intentions and actions. Decarbonization is a daunting task for organizations. A staggering 91% of businesses today are not able to properly measure their carbon footprint. And even when they do so, 89% of them still fails to reduce their emissions in line with their targets. Why is that? Well, number 1 challenge, data collection. The process of data collection can be extremely painful and time-consuming, especially when it comes to Scope 3 emissions. It might lead to sensible and significant data gaps. Decarbonization strategies also require a vast amount of estimations and planning, which need to be grounded on solid and a vast amount of data. Without access to that data, action tracking and reporting become even more difficult. Decarbonization strategies add to the complexity and to the challenge.
Thank you. And that's where exactly Olive Gaia comes in. As our mission is to automate the decarbonization. When we talk about emission, the key important aspect around is the emission mapping. And that's where precisely our platform automates the data collection with the use of plug-and-play APIs, which pulls in the required information from practically any ERP solution or CRM solution that the company has. Beyond the data collection, our AI engine actually helps parse and clean the data, structure it to be used in our powerful emission calculation engine. Now, when we talk about the data analytics, which is available in the platform, it precisely identifies the emission hotspots, the overall emission from the businesses across the business unit, assets, investments, vendors, and the overall energy consumption. Once the data is identified, that's precisely where the engine runs and tells about the various decarbonization initiatives that can be implemented, along with the timeline, the cost involved, the overall implementation initiatives as such, and exactly tells what sort of targets can be set around decarbonization in line with science-based target initiatives and GHG protocol. Beyond that, the hard-to-abate emission, because as we understand that not all the emission can be abated completely. That's where the user gets an option to offset those emissions through the platform itself and helps report as per global reporting frameworks like TCFD and CDP. So when it comes to the overall emission calculations, so that's where the most important aspect, the ingredient behind is in terms of the disclosure, and that's where the reporting comes in. Whatever data and the analysis which has been run by the platform can be independently verified as per the ISO standards. Beyond that, the key parameter or the key statics, basically the key capability within the platform is around the decarbonization scenarios, which are in line with 1.5 degree, 2 degree, sector-based decarbonization approaches. So those sort of decarbonization initiatives can be identified by the platform. And the powerful AI engine behind that runs the predictive analysis in terms of finding the most optimized way of decarbonization for that particular industry. Beyond this, since the overall basis of the tool is around the data collection, the whole platform is SOC 2 and GDPR compliant. So that's precisely what the tool comes with the features.
Being based in the UAE, being a registered UAE company, we are targeting a yet untapped market of the MENA and India region, catering specifically to the needs of the local value chain systems and eyeing an ARR of 15 million in the next 5 years. We've been providing carbon management services for the past year and a half to both government and private entities in the UAE and in India, gaining invaluable insights about their challenges and unique needs. And we've been really becoming the preferred partners to many of these reputable clients for all things net zero. Our industry-agnostic SaaS platform is going to meet the growing demand for carbon management and net zero via tiered subscription and carbon credit trading. And with a leadership team with over 80 years of business transformation experience, we are really proud to have a vision that goes beyond the mere product development and financial success, as we really want to close the climate action gap by enabling a net zero world and a future that is sustainable for all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Jessica, and thank you, Mr. Vivek, for the presentation. Now, any questions from the judges?
Yes, thank you very much for the presentation. I see the software side of the solution, but I think the complex solution, how to collect, is not the collection from the cloud. I'm really sorry. This is how to capture the data. And what's the standard that you are using for the data capturing?
Right. So as you rightly pointed out, the key basically characteristic of the platform is to collection of the data. So what we are doing is we are creating APIs which can get connected to any of the enterprise solutions. Say a corporate is using SAP or Microsoft Azure for that matter. Our APIs would be able to fetch all the accounting data, which is key to calculation of all carbon emissions, and that would be automatically will be pulled into the platform. After that, the AI, what it does is basically pass the data, structure the data, which directly goes into our carbon emission model, which is based on ISO 14064 and GHG protocol. So that precisely calculates the complete carbon emission. Beyond this, the whole platform is, while the development itself, we are ensuring that it complies with the GHG protocol and ISO standards in the first place.
Thank you, Mr. Vivek, for answering the questions, and thank you, Ms. Jessica, for your presentation. Now, all the way from South Korea, let's welcome Mr. Ji-Hon Yang, representing Baobao Healthcare.
Good afternoon. I am Ji-Hoon Yang, CSO of Baobao Healthcare, located in South Korea. Did you know that fish protein accounts for about 20% of the global animal consumption by the world population? However, this key food will go to depletion by 2048 if these global challenges continue. Humanity will face severe global challenges if we don't make decisions fast enough to make a better future. One potential solution is the clean fish, which is produced using cell culture techniques instead of raising livestock. In this manufacturing process, we use 3D bioprinting technology. So in short, we grow cells to become an edible fish. Using our multi-system, we can stack living fish muscle fibers to become an edible fish fillet. Using this system, we can increase the number of the system parts, such as the nozzles and the heads, and the system itself, to increase the production rate while decreasing the production time. In general, most of the cell-based companies are using scaffold-based approaches to produce their products. However, most of the companies are trying to introduce 3D bioprinting technologies to their manufacturing process to produce cell-based products which closely resembles the real meat or the real fish. However, we have already all the 3D bioprinting abilities necessary for producing cell-based products. According to the experts, 35% of the global meat consumption will be replaced by cell-based meat by 2040. Moreover, cell-based meat has the highest meat similarity and the commercial potential compared to other meat alternatives. Global meat, dairy, and fish market, which is one of the biggest global markets, accounts for $1,600 billion US. Our target market is the global salmon market, which is estimated to be $72 billion US by 2028. Cell-based meat is already approved in Singapore. And in the US, 2 companies has gained their approval for their cell-based chicken by the FDA and are waiting for the USDA approval before entering the market in 2025. The world's first clean fish will be on the Singapore market in 2024 in collaboration with ESCO-Ester, which is located in Singapore. ESCO-Ester has experience in manufacturing and licensing cell-based products together with the US company. And based on these results and data, we'll try to enter the US market by 2025 and other potential markets which are willing to open cell-based meat in their countries. Our team is composed of 14 team members, mostly researchers who are specialized in producing cell-based products, including me. As we have seen with smartphones, AI, and genome sequencing, impactful technologies that have shaped our lives today were unimaginable before key scientific breakthroughs made them possible. Therefore, we are not just developing clean fish, but the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jihan, for your presentation. Any question from our judges?
Yeah, can I ask, have you taste tested this with people and what do they say about it?
Thank you for the question. Of course, we've tasted it. However, the current technologies are far from resembling the real meat 100%. However, we can assure the taste is about 70 to 80% of the real salmon.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jihan Yang, for your presentation. And now let's welcome from Saudi Arabia, Sahar Flow Solution, Mr. Fawaz Al-Sharif.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fawaz. I'm a product designer from Sahar Flow Solutions. And today I'll be presenting to you a great investment opportunity. So we produce intelligent fluid measuring devices that are powered by AI software. This is used in the oil and gas industry to help optimize their production process while simultaneously lowering carbon emissions. And this is done using our patents portfolio as well as having proven experience taking products from the concept phase to the field. And our vision is to become a global leader in multi-phase measuring technology as well as helping play a pivotal role into really reducing carbon emissions here. So why is this important? Well, we're strategically positioned in Saudi Arabia, the largest exporter of oil and gas in the world. Saudi imports most of the technology that we are developing as well, so this is a direct market share for us to tackle. We are backed by Aramco, as I will explain later, and we're in line with the kingdom's vision of 2030 to help increase local procurement up to 70%. So let's discuss a typical production process and the problem. So in a typical process, you have a stimulation well where water is injected directly in the stimulation well to help push oil on the other side. Inevitably, what you'll have is water starts to leak into your production pipeline, and in order to accurately measure and gauge your production efficiency, you need to be continuously measuring that amount of water and making sure it's minimal. So currently, there's so-called test separators that are used, very bulky equipment with over maybe 50 mechanical connections, very susceptible to leakage are being used. They're installed on a per monthly basis, and as you can see in this example, does not provide continuous monitoring or measurements of the water, and a lot can happen, as in this example, where 60% of the oil stayed stranded in the reservoir. So this is our solution, which is just an inline pipe segment that has an embedded microwave sensor in it that launches a rotating electric field. And through some advanced computations, we are able to back calculate the water fraction from 0 to 100%. And as you can see, similar to the previous plot, this one is much better. When you have continuous monitoring, you're able to detect problems much early on by seeing where the sudden increase in water measurements occurring and also intervening much earlier, helping optimize your production process. So if you take this extremely conservative example of just improving your efficiency by 3.5%, well, if you assume current production of 184K and current pricings, that could easily translate to over $500,000 per day or over $160 million per year. So it's not just about increasing the revenue, we're also tackling this important problem that's commonly found in this industry, which is to reduce global emissions. With this type of solution, as you can see, we can simplify the equipment shown in the top left corner by just introducing a simple smart pipe segment as opposed to having a very bulky equipment that separates all these different phases. And as you can see, like any one of those components failing could introduce major leakage into the environment. So this is our patents portfolio that is owned by KAUST University in Saudi Arabia and Saudi Aramco as well. And Sahar has exclusive licensing to these patents, and this is the joint agreement between the three parties. This is our operation model showing that where we do our design and prototyping on the west side. We have ongoing field tests on the center region, and we have manufacturing partners on the eastern side as well that are ready to help us scale up. And this model can be duplicated across other regions in the GCC, especially in the Emirates, as we're really interested in this market. So this is the engineering office, our workshop where we do the prototyping as discussed earlier. And we're in the top sector side of things. So we offer two different sales models. We offer direct sales and sales through agencies. So we have 3 different products, and we offer after sales for software as a service, as well as maintenance, local staff training, and others. Currently, we have good exposure in the GCC. We're opening a North American office very soon. And we're having exposure in the Latin American and Eastern Asian markets through the agency you just mentioned earlier. Our technology is field tested, so we have been field proven to operate in high pressure and temperature condition and passing critical safety certifications. We have ongoing shipments to PDO company in Oman, and we have ongoing collaborations with ADNOC, Petronas, and Superpetrol. So we are very globally active, engaging with different partnerships at all times. Current projections, well, we've earned $1 million to date, and we see that as a conservative estimate, we could project that to be up to $81 million by 2027, based on the type of market. This is the team behind the work. So we have David Bomley, who has over 20 years of experience in selling the type of technology we're creating. We have over 20 years of microwave experience in the co-founders and co-inventors, and business experience in the petroleum industry, plus 12 other members. So yeah, we're looking for $5 million for our Series A investment round. And to summarize, we're tackling an important problem that will become more increasingly important, especially as energy demands increases. And we're also helping optimize the plaguing problem of carbon emissions. So yeah, thank you. That's about it.
Thank you, Mr. Fawaz, for your presentation. Now, any questions from our judges? Yes.
I was just ask because you talk about multi-phase flows, and then most of your talk was about water content. Are you doing a full multi-phase characterization, or are you doing a water cut?
We're providing full multi-phase measurements, so we provide fractions of water, gas, and oil, as well as their flow properties.
All right, brilliant. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Fawaz. Now let's welcome Hephaestus Hub by Mr. Naushad Umar.
Thank you so much for having me here. Sorry about that. So I'm here to talk to you about a topic which is typically quite boring, so please bear with me, but I hope I can change your mind at the end of this presentation. So we've been building this company kind of in stealth mode. This is actually the first time we're talking about it in public. It's about steel. Steel is a massive industry, right? It's pretty much everywhere. Every building has steel in it. This incredible building, this room, I mean, steel is like the elephant in the room, pretty much. We don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about the reuse of steel, and that's what we're here to enable, and I'll tell you why that's so important. So while steel is really an amazing product, it's strong, it's cost-effective, it's versatile, it can be used for a very long time frame, it's got a long life cycle, and it can be recycled. There's some major issues in the way steel is produced today, right? So number one, carbon emissions. It goes without saying, steel is a massive producer of carbon emissions. 9% of global carbon emissions come from the steel industry. Second, it's very energy intensive. You're literally burning coal to melt iron ore and produce steel, right? I don't need to talk about the numbers that go behind that. It's a very centralized industry, so a few big players around the world control like the whole industry. There's barely a secondary market. So prices are controlled by a few large players, and the smaller players don't have much of an opportunity there. And lastly, steel, only 6% of it gets reused today, even though like the lifespan of steel is really long. Like steel that comes out of buildings can easily be reused, but only 6% is being reused. A lot of it is being recycled. Now, most people think recycling of steel is great. It's a very sustainable way to build. Unfortunately, that's actually wrong, because recycling requires a lot of energy. It requires the same process. You're melting the steel, you're producing it, you're shipping it around the world, etc. So it's really not that much better. Let's talk about the regional context, right? So this year, 29 of the leading real estate development companies here in the UAE, in Abu Dhabi, signed a real estate climate pledge, right, to support the UAE's net zero strategy by 2050. At the same time, $1 trillion is going to be invested in construction in the next 5-6 years by 2030. Imagine the amount of steel that's going to be fabricated, the amount of buildings that are going to be built, the amount of emissions that's going to come out of that, right? We want to continue building amazing buildings such as this one, and we don't want that to slow us down. But at the same time, we have millions of tons, thousands and thousands of tons of steel that are just sitting in scrap yards, stock yards, with suppliers that really needs to find a home, right? So Think about us as a dating app for steel, right? Old steel that needs to find a new home. I told you I was going to try to make it a little fun. So the value proposition here, the way things are done today, right? So a designer that wants to design a building starts with a blank canvas. He has no idea what's available. He designs a building, that goes to a fabricator, the steel gets fabricated, a new building gets built. At the same time, there's tons of buildings that are getting decommissioned every year, demolished. Structural steel is coming out, going to scrap yards, stock yards, recycling centers. Those two worlds don't meet. They don't talk at all. So what we're enabling is literally connecting those worlds. There's two ways we're doing that. One is we're enabling the digitization of steel, reclaimed steel that comes out of buildings. We can use AI to essentially organize, categorize, and even certify the steel for reuse. There's established methods out there. We're working with some of the agencies in the UK to do this. And we'll enable the designers to plug into this cloud-based inventory of digitized steel. So they can, as they're designing, they can see, okay, what's available, what's around me? Do I need to fabricate all this newly made steel from China, or can I find it, 3 blocks away and have it shipped over for my project? So an example here on the screen is this telecommunication tower, which is being taken down. So you can see all the pieces that are coming out of it, which can be categorized and sorted using our technology. On the bottom, you have a train station. That's a new building that's being built. The space frame for that platform, bunch of those pieces from the telecommunication tower can be used directly for this new train station. Yeah. So our business model is quite simple. I covered, there's 2 elements, really. There's the design aspect, which is a SaaS fee. So we'll provide the tools that will enable designers to optimize their design, plug into this cloud-based inventory, and optimize for sustainability. Second is the transaction fees from procurement. So you can also buy the steel or procure the steel from the platform because we have access to the inventory and we have access to the buyers as well. In the future, we'll add ancillary services. We'll have financial, logistics, and so on that will be built into it. The market is massive, $120 billion. That's the structural steel market. 6% is being reused. That's growing every year. It's going to go up to almost a $160 billion market just for reuse by 2040. By 2030, that's going to go up to about a $26 billion market. So just reuse of steel is going to increase significantly. There's no players that are actually doing an all-in-one platform that we are. Steel prices are skyrocketing. I'm sure everyone's aware of that. And that's one of the reasons also that reuse is going to become a huge market. We've already got a minimum viable product. So as you can see here, there's a 3D model of a building that's being designed. You throw it onto the platform with a click of a button. It essentially evaluates all of the members, the beams, columns, looks at the inventory, replaces new steel with steel that can be basically reclaimed, and automatically redesigns the building to enable tapping into steel that's available. It also spits out numbers like carbon emissions saved, cost savings, time savings, etc. So the team, we're 3 co-founders. Kostas, who is our founder, is based in London. He's a professor in structural steel, structural engineering at City University London. He lives and breathes steel. He's been doing it for 17 years. And he's now gotten involved in the AI and the overlap between construction and AI. I'm based out here in Dubai. My background is civil engineering, infrastructure, transport. I spent the last 6 years with a startup that I think most people will have heard of. It's called Hyperloop One, developing their commercial strategy and bringing them to the region. Theo comes from the steel software market. So he's developed 2 companies. He's already deployed various steel softwares around the world. George is our software engineer, and Amjad is an advisor, also based here in Abu Dhabi. So to give you a quick case study on what this could look like.
Naushad, we are running out of time for
I will
presentation.
just leave you with this slide then, just a quote for you to ponder.
Thank you, Mr. Naushad. Any questions? We have just 1 minute from our judges.
Just one thing. To what extent is the success of this product going to be dependent on the maturity of the reclaimed steel market and its availability and its proximity to the user?
Sure. So the problem so far has been that there hasn't been a centralized inventory of steel. So we will have to work with the industry. It's going to be challenging because the industry is very old school, but that's changing. Once we get enough inventory on the platform, and we're going to start with the local market because you have local construction happening pretty much in every market. And so we'll have to build up that inventory, and then the designer plugin will enable designers in that area to tap into that inventory. The process used to certify that steel for reuse is also well established, and that's part of our tool set.
Thank you, Mr. Rashid, for answering the questions, and thank you for your presentation.
Thank you so much.
Our judges. A special thank you note to the second group of startup for their amazing presentation, and thank you note to our judges for carefully evaluating the concepts. Your feedback is much appreciated. We'll be announcing the top scored startup based on the evaluation from the judges on the concept, how the pitch was delivered, the commercialization aspect, and the commercial tractions, how the idea is relevant to the market, plus the sustainability impact of the technology. Now we'll be taking a short break, and we'll resume back after 10 minutes, and we'll start session 2, and we eagerly excited to meet the third and the fourth group of a startup. See you soon. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and aspiring entrepreneurs. Good afternoon and welcome again to the second session of the highly anticipated startup competition. I'm Mira Al-Maheri and I'm honored to be your MC for this exciting event, where we'll witness the innovative ideas and technology that will be showcased here today. Once again, I would like to extend a warm greeting to our audience. And before we kick off the competition, I would like to take a moment and thank our sponsors who have made this event even possible. So thank you to Aspire, Catalyst, and our industry sponsors, Schneider Electric and Yokogawa. And the sport partner, Hub 71. Thank you all to our sponsor for their support, as they have played a big role in bringing together this platform for our startups. I would like also to acknowledge the esteemed judges on the second session who have agreed to let their expertise and time to evaluate the presentation today. So welcome Engineer Mariam Al-Kuwaiti, Senior Manufacturer Engineer from Strata. Welcome Rona Shadid, Senior Specialist Technology and Innovation from COP28. And we'd like to welcome Abdurrahman Kalbat, Project Manager of District 4.0 from UAE University. I would like also to welcome Suleiman Amin, Managing Director from Catalyst. Also, I would like to welcome Amin Al-Khouli, COO from Modest, and also Ahmed Ali from Schneider Electric. Plus, we'd like to welcome Mohammed Nadim, TVP from Yokogawa Industry. Thank you all to our judges for your time today. We really appreciate it. And to all the startups who are participating in this competition, I want to commend each and every one of you for your passion, dedication, and commitment. Remember, this is your moment to shine, so give it your all and inspire us with your innovations. Without further ado, let's start our program and welcome for the second session, Managing Director of Catalyst to deliver his keynote speech. Please welcome Suleiman Amin.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ministry of Industry and Advanced Technologies Startup Pitch Competition. My name is Suleiman Amin, and I'm the Managing Director of the Catalyst, the UAE's first early-stage VC purely focused on clean tech and climate tech. Today, we gather here with a shared purpose to ignite the spark of innovation, drive economic growth, and accelerate the development of innovative clean technologies in the UAE. This forum is not just a competition, but a platform that empowers industrial growth, fosters economic development, and strengthens supply chain resilience. It provides a unique opportunity for leading national companies, manufacturers, and startups to come together, forge partnerships, and explore new avenues for growth and collaboration. At Catalyst, we understand the transformative power of startups driving change. We are deeply committed to investing in early-stage climate tech companies that are at the forefront of innovation. These startups today, focusing on renewable energy, agri-tech, waste reduction, life sciences, mobility, and AI, hold the key to unlocking the UAE's immense potential and propelling us into a sustainable future. The UAE has long been recognized as a global leader in driving innovation and embracing sustainable practices. Our country has a vision to become a hub for clean technologies, to diversify our economy, and to build a more resilient and sustainable future for our nation and to the world. To realize this vision, collaboration between government and private sector is paramount. But this event is more than just a competition. It's about nurturing a culture of innovation, encouraging entrepreneurship, and shaping the future of industries. It's about promoting the development of existing industries, exploring new growth opportunities, and showcasing the UAE as a global leader in clean technologies. I am truly inspired by the passion, creativity, and determination of the entrepreneurs here today who will be pitching their ideas. I urge all stakeholders, the government, investors, corporates, and startups to come together, collaborate, and unleash the full potential of innovative clean technologies. Let us work hand in hand to create a sustainable, prosperous future that benefits not only the UAE, but the entire world. Thank you for being a part of this incredible event, and I wish all the participants best of luck. Together, we will shape a future that is cleaner, greener, and filled with limitless possibilities. Thank you very much.
Now let's continue with the competition and welcome the third group of startup to showcase their technology. I just want to remind you that each participant will have 5 to 7 time allocated for their pitch and for our judges to evaluate and score their presentation. So let's start and welcome Replast, Mr. Hamza Hder.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll be talking about our company, Replast, which is an interior design and furniture-based focused company, which essentially talks about sustainability and how we recycle and reuse plastics in order to manufacture furniture. Unfortunately, Hamza, the person whose name was introduced, is not with us here today because of some official business back home in Pakistan. So me and Nihal would be pitching the company, and we have been a part of the company since a long time. So just talking about the idea, the problem that we address, first of all, is the problem of plastics. By 2050, it is estimated that there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish itself by weight. Everybody discusses and talks about climate change, and how it is extremely integral, as well as major global issues such as poverty. But one issue that often gets overlooked nowadays is the issue of plastic and how important it is to recycle and reuse plastic. So just to give you some numbers and metrics, approximately 3.9 million tons of plastic waste is produced in Pakistan every year. 40% of all plastic in the UAE is only single-use plastic, which means it is just used once and discarded. And 91% of all plastics are not recycled. Which is why we at Replast see that the issue of plastics not as a major problem, but as a means to solve a solution or to solve a problem. So we see plastic waste, as I said, not as a residual product, but a valuable beginning of a new cycle. Striving to the highest standards of climate neutrality, we at Replast aim to upcycle plastic waste streams into sustainable and fashionable high-end products, through our own design called Sapor, which we have called the marble of the future. Sapor is a 100% recycled and 100% recyclable plastic composite, and the sheets serve essentially as a circular alternative to wood, ceramics, marble, as well as medium density firewood. The product itself, in addition to being recyclable and recycled, is circular, water resistant, termite proof, and lightweight. What this essentially means is that the product being circular means that if you, for example, use Sapor sheets in some furniture and you want it to be recycled and design something else of your own, you can simply bring it to the factories or have it recycled and have an entirely new design generated out of the same piece of product itself. So currently we work on 3 different types of plastic materials. Our product has 3 different thicknesses in terms of the sheets that we produce. This 10 millimeters, 15 millimeters, 20 millimeters, as well as 2 different finishes in glossy and matte. Now, as opposed to the conventional idea of plastic as being something that is not very hard or matty or durable that can be used in the long run, we believe that the impact resistance and scratch resistance of the product, which we made from recycling and reusing plastic, is up to the highest standards possible and is comparable with products such as marble and granite in the long run as well. And what we believe is that ultimately only our imagination or your imagination is the limit when it comes to devising these products. So how do we make Sapor sheets? So in addition, our customized process is an extremely bespoke process which involves a lot of stakeholders involved in the process. So right from the start, we have a group of partners operating in Lahore itself, which are responsible for cleaning, sorting, and collection of all the plastic waste. For the collection of plastic waste, our factories based in Lahore, we collect essentially plastic from a radius of 25 miles around the area itself, which ensures that we have good enough amount of plastic to be recycled and reused in the future itself. After that, it goes through a shedding and mixing process from which we gain access to these Sapor sheets, which I think have provided the judges as well. These are the kind of sheets that are produced. Ultimately, after the process, when they go to a factory, if you have a very custom order for a tool or just simply sending out the sheets as well, you cut the sheet, you sand it in order to remove any scratches, there is polishing involved, as well as engraving in order to ensure that we know what type of plastic was used in the recycling and manufacturing process, so that if you bring it back in order for us to recycle it again, we know which plastic it is and which process is to be used. After that, the product is packaged and is shipped to the future.
Thank you, Arun. So the international collaborations we have, first we won the Etihad Challenge. So we've already made Etihad stall for their Dubai Air Show. We also have a collaboration with Adidas, their flagship store in Shanghai. They ordered 100 stools from us for their staff and their customers to use. And that there's been a return order of 50 stools as well. We were also representing the government of Pakistan in the Dubai Expo 2020 and the Sharjah Architectural Triennial. Since we're already a company registered in AGGM, we are currently selling our stools through them, the NU stool. So this is just an example of what we did for Etihad at the Dubai Air Show. This is a stool, which I've put over here. This is the new stool. And so one Sapor sheet contains 6,500 plastic cups. The differentiating factor between us and other recyclers of plastic is that the content we make, the products we make, they are recyclable again. So instead of linear product cycles, we have a circular design. So when somebody doesn't want to use Sapor anymore, they can give it back to us, and we can recycle and upscale it further as well. We have a B2B and B2C channels. The B2C we're currently working on. Currently, we're only focused on B2B. We're selling full Sapor sheets and these types of tools as well. We see the UAE's interior market and the furniture market both as a high growth market in which we have a prospective $27 million of market share we aim to capture in the next 10 years. Our scaling up vision is coming into the UAE, setting up more and expanding our revenue streams. So we had 80,000 dirhams revenue last year. Year to date, we have 200,000, and we want to push it to 560,000 dirhams. And we're also, Sharjah Architectural Triennial, they're posting positive numbers. They're giving us repeat orders as well. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Replast team. Thank you for your presentation. I just have 1 minute for any question from our judges.
Hello. Yes. So my question is around what are the energy sources you use for the crushing and melting process?
Our current factory in Lahore, it's completely based on solar. So we're completely renewable and off-grid.
Thank you. Thank you, Replus team, for your presentation. And now let's welcome the next startup, Miyasim Agriculture, Mr. Abdul Samad.
Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. I am Abdul Samad. I'm the founder and CEO of Miyasim Agritech Services. We are a sustainability and agritech service provider based in Al Ain. What we're focusing on is, we are a Abu Dhabi-based company focusing in Al Ain industry, targeting the agri-tourism and the agribusiness venture, focusing on FMB and the FMCG sector. What we are doing is we are having community development initiatives where we are partnering up with local farms, local communities in preaching the sustainable method of agritech and agriculture that can be passed through our generations. How we do it? We use the sustainable agritech practices, we use growth gap technologies, and we have our own intech technology that we use to subsidize the vertical farming, which is very expensive and very large scale for a normal person to use. We subsidize it and we label it under urban farming. So which in turn leads the revenue. I'll get to the revenue part. Before that, what are we addressing right now? Off the bat, we are focusing on food security and doing our best to offer to the food security initiative from a different point of view, where we're starting small scale from the local community and growing upwards. So we have been having some good feedback from our community. I'll be getting to that in a point. Secondly, we are addressing the climate change initiatives through our R&D researches for focusing on permaculture and how we can use the desert lands surrounding our city and to become a better green pasture. Then also we have the current issue, where is the inefficient use of farmlands. Most of the farmland owners we have met, they have the issue where they cannot efficiently use their farmlands to produce. So with our research and with our solutions, they are able to generate more revenue and have a sustainable farmland which they can pass down to the coming generations. In the end, of course, through our community development platforms, we also conduct market awareness. We are having training sessions. We do workshops teaching the community on how we can use this technology in a more sustainable way, which also not hurting the pocket. What we do, we improve efficiency on the current farming practices by making all these new tech available locally, where it can be subsidized in cost and locally be made affordable for the local users. How we do it, we have two offerings. For the B2B, we have the vertical farming offering alongside our partners and our clients. We also have the B2C function, which is the subsidized version of vertical farming. It's called the urban farming. How we package it? We package it into 4 catalogs, which is basically smart water, smart energy, the IoT, IoB technology and services, and the final one is the smart and sustainable living, which is focused towards the community and the B2Z. Our current clients right now, we have presence in 4 countries, who we started our journey as clients, then we ended up partnering up. I'll be getting to it soon. We have currently presence in UAE, we have in Dubai, and we have in Al Ain. And we also have in Saudi Arabia with a farm where we are working on our R&D. We have in India, our partners, and also we have in South Korea. These are our partners. We have been in the market for 3 years. We have been partnering up in R&D and how we can make this technology affordable to the local community. We are being currently incubated by Google for their right brain technology, for digital marketing, on how we are promoting agribusiness using the new AI technology. We are also being in talks with Cisco Innovation Labs. We are being partnered up with them to design the low-level technology in terms of Internet of Behavior. We are also partnered in terms of machine learning and AI on how we can merge these 2 technologies together to promote the business more efficiently. It's a quick stat. The food UAE has been passing in the first 10 grades in the Global Food Security Index, and it's projected to be first in the 2051, which is the UAE Vision 2051. The current state, this is last year's data because we haven't completed this year, but we have very good traction when it comes to agri-tech, robotics and automation, machine learning, AI. Also, we're working with the current sustainable solutions like alternative energy, solar energy, supercapacitors, and etc. Currently, we have 36% of the market being covered by vertical farmings. We have a lot of potential in these subsidized farmlands that's privately owned, where they can benefit from it while also benefiting, generating a source of revenue which can sustainable. Our current competitors in the market are Privo Farms, Agritecture, Vegitech. It's a healthy competition where we partner up with them, we work towards a better good. Our unique selling points is we are one-of-a-kind business. We provide a holistic service where the business owner or the customer alike don't need to look for quality materials or quality knowledge. We provide that in the market. We also are promoting the tourism and the sustainable business through our value-added services. We provide supplies. We are also planning to open up a couple of production lines to make these tech available locally to reduce dependency on import and export. Finally, we promote the local food systems. We make them efficient by using our tracking technology, our sustainable practices. We currently have our couple of revenue streams. We have from agritourism. We have partnered with a trial farmland where we are testing this idea of having a cafe and a farm where they can find that synergy in generating that revenue. We are also partnered with a couple of NGOs where we can do our share on giving back to the community. We also are planning to have our distribution and supply chain lines. Currently, we have our tech outside the country. We are planning to start that production line right here. And of course, the FMCG industry, food and restaurants. We are currently working with a couple of restaurants in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi, where they use our urban farming technology and they are generating, they are saving a lot when it comes to energy consumption, when it comes to food requirements. And of course, our B2B function, we also provide tenders and contracts where we work on consultancy basis. We provide end-to-end solutions along with our partners. This is my team. Unfortunately, I'm here alone today. Everyone is outside the country. Our marketing officer, Mr. Hassan, we have Subhajit, our CTO, and Mr. Amir, who is CFO, and he's also my personal mentor. A quick financial record. This is also from last year because of the very fast changes in the UAE market, but we will be getting a much more steady growth in the final projections. What are we planning to do next? We are currently having a presence in Al Ain. We want to our next step is to start promoting decarbonization of the city where the buildings become sustainable and get in par with the current trends of the market where the real estate is going high. And also, we also tap into the FMCG market where we produce good quality produce and make it affordable for everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Abdel Samad. You're running out of time.
It's okay. I was just one slide away from the allocation.
30 seconds. You can conclude? Okay, good. Thank you, Mr. Abdel Samad, for your presentation. Unfortunately, we don't have any time for questions from the judges. Yeah, you can have a conversation with the judges and with the audience in the break. Thank you, Mr. Abdel Samad. And now, let's welcome all the way from South Korea, Mr. Philip Kim, Nerd Lab.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's really a nice time having in the UAE. It's an honor to be invited in this event. From Korea, our company, let's talk about something that flies now, okay? We're called Nerd Lab. It's a combination of two words, near and earth. And yeah, we make software to make drones fly autonomously and do its missions. And we are active in 30 countries. We have major customers in Europe and US. We're now looking forward to launch our business in the UAE and the GCC areas. Right. So if you're now talking about drones, I'm not talking the market size. I'm not talking about from a Best Buy or Alibaba buying a drone itself from the market. I'm talking about real value derivatives. The market is going to reach 260 billion in 2030, besides the harsh regulations of the countries. So the accidents are happening everywhere, and the population is decreasing everywhere, right? So we need people to be up at some place, let's say on the roof or on a building, to do its jobs for the maintenance reasons. But number one, it's very dangerous. Number two, we don't have people to do it. And number three, it's very costly. It's very, very expensive for a human being to hang up from a building to see if there's a crack, a single crack on a building. NearthLab has developed an autonomous flight solution for any drones in the world using visual sensors. On the left side, you're seeing all of the technological IPs that we own. Each sections, we own a global IPs. On the right side is applicable business models that we can launch. We're now strong in Europe and the US for the wind turbine blade inspections. However, we're looking forward to launch in the military section as well as MRO for the airplanes. Technology, we're founded by the PhD from KAIST in Korea, which is about Caltech or MIT of Korea. 50% of our staff is composed with a master's degree or PhD on the aerodynamics and in the drone area. We won the CES award in 2022, which was not really seen greatly because of the COVID. It was an online award ceremony. We won the Google Kaggle Award for the AI detection. Commercialization, we saw about 200% growth last year. High retention. We're the third largest drone service provider, as well as a hardware and software provider in the world. And we're the only company in the world that is providing a vision-based drone solution. All right, so we had, from 2015 to 2019, we had a long period of R&D and commercialization because we really wanted to have this thing work, right? We don't want to see drone falling down from the sky. And just wanted to make sure that it stays in the air, right? From 2020, we launched in the market, and we see a lot of customers looking at us, want to do collaborations, want to do projects with us. 2022, we won the CES award, like I said, and we are one of the 100 startups in Korea that has been awarded as the future growth for the Korean market. All right, so that handsome man is my CEO. His baby kind of came out a little early. I guess impatience kind of comes with a Korean nationality, but yeah, this slide is just to prove that we are on our way to be the best drone service provider or drone software company in the world. On the top, it's the Nearwind Pro 2. It comes with, the big drone and comes with a computer with it. We develop our camera and the lens to do, more accurate and quality data acquisition. With the vision data sensing, we're able to reach the Nearwind Mobile, which is basically a handheld drone that is capable of doing its own missions as much as the pro versions. You just download our app, and it will do autonomous inspection or missions at its own. Even you guys can get it. All right, so it's like a long-term strategy. 2019 to 2022, we wanted to set ourselves as a strong market player in the wind industry. From this year to 2025, we're focusing now on defense. Because a couple months ago, Korea was invaded by North Korea with like 3 really old drones, and the government and the president really didn't like it, so they are pushing us to develop our own drone to serve in the military as well. And from 2026 to 30, we're expecting to cope up with the large corporations. I'm sorry, I'll finish quickly. So GTM, so phase 3, so we are trying to cluster autonomous flight control with the carry out of various missions with swarm missions or the MRO or any type of missions that you can possibly think of where you need eyes on. So think of anywhere, just not on the ground in the near Earth area. So that's it from us, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Philip. Any questions from our judges?
Yeah, I have one question. Thank you very much for the presentation. So how does your product ensure the accuracy and reliability of its data analysis through deep learning? And could you explain the key features or algorithms that enable fast and accurate decision-making for industrial inspections?
Sure, I'll go one by one. For the algorithm, I might have to call up my engineers, so I might need to hold up for the answer. So the differentiation, so we are based on, like I said, we're based with 50% of the doctoral and the PhD degree from the best school in the world, I guess. So the coding itself is not based on college students. It's professionally made, and we make everything by ourselves, except for the drone that is from I'm not going to say the brand, but it's one of the best brands in the world. But we see the market evolving as they're trying to ban some of the manufacturer in the industry because of the national security reasons. That's why we're trying to develop our own software as well as the hardware as well. Hope that helps.
Thank you, Mr. Philip, for answering the questions. Thank you for your presentation. Now let's go next to Nadira Technology by Mr. Rabi' Shah.
That's not us. Is there? Oh, that's okay. It's your turn. Okay, that's us for sure. Hello everyone, my name is Rabia Sha'ar. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Nadira Technologies. And today I'm presenting to you Yalla Return, or Yalla Nhawila, our product to make our cities greener and zero waste. So, did you know that, this is working. Basically, in the UAE, we are producing one of the highest amount of waste in the world on a per capita basis. However, we recycle less than 10% of that. Best-in-class countries and the government aspirations is to divert more than 75% of the waste. If you look at the value, and here we're talking about industry and how we can make the best out of the value, 55% of the waste in the UAE is recyclable. That means 6.75 million tons that can be put back into the manufacturing industry. This is 25 million tons of CO2 that could be avoided and 60 gigawatts of energy that could be saved. Very importantly, this means direct $3.4 billion of material value that we are literally throwing into the garbage that will have a multiplier effect of $10 billion across the board. So what we've done is we identified what are the root causes, why this is happening, and we tackled them. And the root causes are three. The awareness for recycling is low. The value chain complexity is high. So even if you know how to recycle, you end up putting it in a place that gets put in a compactor and doesn't end up in the right recycling facility. And finally, the unit economics is very, very tight. So to do a good job in this business, you have to look at that very carefully. What we've done is we created a value chain, which is a digitally enabled value chain, starting by learning on how to recycle by the end users. Then we created a smart bin system that allows users to drop their recyclables in a secure manner that doesn't contaminate it with the rest of the waste types. And then we created a patented tracing mechanism. So if you recycle with us, we would know, and we'll give you a lot of incentives for you to continue on recycling. If you are making mistakes, we'll actually tell you what are the mistakes so you can avoid making these mistakes next time. And that effort is recognized not only from a monetary perspective, but as well from the impact that you've done on the environment. Our screens teaches people on how to recycle. It gamifies that whole process. It provides videos about recycling. We even have created our own algorithm that allows you to check if this item is recyclable or not. You can try it yourself, ai.nadira.org, and you can take a picture and it tells you if this item is recyclable. Very importantly as well, I went too far. We created a smart bin concept, which is using your phone, and this is being deployed as we speak in Abu Dhabi. You scan the QR code on the machine, it opens, you put in the bag, and it closes. You're not sitting in front of a machine, putting it bottle by bottle. It's a 5-second process, and then you're done. You're going to see this in the Eastern Mangroves tonight, actually. We're deploying them, and in many other communities across Abu Dhabi. Finally, this is how our bags look like. These are individual QR codes that go on every single bag, and they are linked to people's accounts, so we would know if people are recycling with us or not, and the quality of recycling, and we provide them feedback based on the quality of recycling. And then finally, we have today 15,000 users, mostly in the UAE. We have collected more than 500 tons, that's 500,000 kilograms of recyclable material, and we generated revenue in the past 12 months of $700,000. We're very proud to be based in Abu Dhabi. We're operational in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai, in Riyadh, and in Lebanon. And very soon we are working with partners to enter Oman and Egypt. We are an ADQ company, so Abu Dhabi Holding Company owned part of us. In addition to that, we work with different governments. We have corporations that we work very, very closely with them to achieve their sustainability targets. And we work with communities and waste collectors. We don't compete with collectors, but we actually help them in engaging better with the end users and recycling more. This is one case study with الدور that was started a year ago. This community today, because of Nadira, is recycling at 70%. So 70% are recycling on a weekly basis, as opposed to not recycling before Nadira was there. This is a community that we started about 10 weeks ago. In 2 weeks, we dispatched our packages, and people are recycling. We reached 48.5% of people are recycling on a weekly basis in Dubai, and that's a very large community, and our largest to date, and it proves that what we do works at scale. We diverted in just about 8 to 10 weeks, 17 plus tons. We won multiple awards, including the Greenhouse Gas Accelerator Award, LEAP Conference to be the best technology for humanity in Saudi Arabia last year, and we were one of 15 companies globally to be invited at COP27 to present our solution, the only company from the Gulf region, in addition to being part of many accelerator programs. This is the team. Our team is a mix between waste management experts and software and hardware developer. We do everything in-house, and we are very much passionate about this topic. Our commitment is to continue on innovating, making it in the UAE, scaling our solution, and exporting from Abu Dhabi and the UAE to the rest of the region and hopefully beyond. Thank you very much for your time.
Base. Thank you, Mr. Rabi, for your presentation. Any questions from our judges?
Quick question for my part. You've mentioned good revenues. Have you hit profitability yet, and do you see a route to it?
On a project level, yes. On a corporate level, no, because we still have a lot of overhead. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your questions, and thank you, Rabi, for representing your concept. Now, let's go and welcome Mr. Ramzi Jaber from Base.
Hi, everybody. I'm here with my co-founder, Ahmed Ghanem. He's our CTO. Vase is a climate deep tech that uses optimization algorithms and machine learning to reduce the amount of raw materials, concrete and steel, in buildings and bridges. So we do structural optioneering. So basically how it works is that contractors or owners would upload their projects. Our software would produce thousands of iterations in terms of structural optioneering and converge to the most efficient option. The software is built of modules, anything below the ground and anything above the ground in terms of horizontal and vertical elements. And you can see how these different modules are broken into various elements. One of our modules, the substructure foundation, which is use everything below the ground. These are piles. I'll show you a real example where the original layout on the left and our software on the right would look at different pile lengths, pile diameters, pile placement, pile collapse, steel reinforcement, thousands of iteration, and goes from 11,000 cubic meters to 5,000 cubic meters of concrete. This is approximately 30% reduction, or 40% reduction, and this is around 2,000 tons of CO2 reduced. I'll just give you a little bit of examples. The team behind it, including Ahmed and I, and some of the structural engineers, we used to do this manually. So I'll just show you some examples of how this was done before. I'll flip through them for time, but you can see everything in orange was removed from left to right. So this was you can see here left, right. The volume of concrete and steel has been decreased. We've done over 500 structures in the past 18 years as a team collective year. I'm a civil engineer. I'm a structural engineer. Ahmed, is a CTO. He used to work in Silicon Valley at Pinterest. Used to do big data jobs there. We realize that this is a global phenomena. Structures are inefficient. We are not utilizing the full capacity of our raw materials. If you look at, from China to Brazil, even the UK has one sample of study from 30 buildings where 35 to 45% of the steel were underutilized. Construction is actually quite low on the digitization front. We're just past agriculture. And I'm sure you've heard the stat before, 11% of the entire world's carbon emissions, just concrete and steel. That's all it is. And that's twice as much as aviation and shipping combined. So, I'll give you an example. Lido uses multi-criteria optimization trajectory that was created by Lufthansa, reduces 2% in average fuel cost. This software is being used in other industries, but it's not used in construction. And so we were combining our two worlds. We were combining optimization algorithm, advanced engineering, and we're doing it. Here, I'm proud to announce our dashboards can be launched this September. So contractors, we are working now. We have projects, but we're now working. We're going to be launching this publicly, where people can upload, or contractors or owners can upload. You can view projects and download the optimized ones. Our business model is SaaS, savings and software as a service. So we take a cut of the percentage of the savings. And as all of you know, there's massive growth in construction. In the Middle East, only is 5 billion square meters of floor area being built. And in recession is actually going to be very useful. There's a circulars, this is from Dubai government or from ADNOC, saying that we need cost cutting and cost optimization that's needed. So even in a recession. I'm proud of this because this technology, there are other startups trying to tackle this problem, but we're very proud to be exporting this to the US. Very soon we're using American building codes. So this is exciting. Here's a real life project. This is 39 storage tanks. One of our modules does storage tanks. Each of these are one volume, but you can have many different geographic iterations. These calculate exact quantities of steel, concrete, and generate. We've been able to reduce 40% of the raw materials. This is around 6,000 tons of CO2 reduced. It's around 1,300 cars off the road. Here we're also, we've divided the group into two groups. One group that will develop modules that can be applied to any buildings, but we also have one small group that's doing mega projects, and I'll I'll give you this as an example.
So this is a real project that we worked on, and we reduced the amount of members and connections and simplified the project using our algorithms. What we do is we take civil problems and change them into mathematical functions, and we solve them that way. We optimize them that way. When you scale the problem a little bit larger, this is just on one panel, and you can go back to the project and see that we even scaled it to even further than that.
We're able to release on this project 1,000 tons of structural steel. In the future, we want to use, I used to head up the R&D development. I helped set up a 3D concrete printing company in Dubai. So in the future, we want to incorporate new forms of technology into our software that can optioneer not just concrete or steel, but 3D printing, ultra-high performance concrete is a new type of concrete. Our long-term vision is that every contractor has the ability to influence the design. And also for municipalities or authorities to say, hey, is this building over-designed or inefficiently designed? And one success metric is how much computing power, petaflops, can we convert to meter cubes of concrete, tons of steel, eventually kilowatts of hour of energy. We're going to get, we're almost done. Thank you.
Thank you for VAST team for your presentation. Any questions from the judges?
Yeah, I have a question. Thank you very much for the presentation. What are the plans for reaching, how you will be able to scale, make sure that the contractors will know about your software?
So what's our plan for scaling?
Yeah.
In terms of our software, okay, so there's a back end. For example, we're looking at Eurocodes. We're adapting our software for Eurocodes or Chinese codes. Is that what you're meaning?
More in the commercialization.
In the commercialization. So one of our business proposition is like, look, you don't pay anything. Let us prove that there's savings. We take a cut of the savings. So for example, our standard right now is 22.5%. So if we reduce 1,000 tons of steel, a ton of steel structural steel is around 12,000 dirhams. We can do the math and say, so we take it's a success-based. After we do move from the first project, it'll be subscription-based. But no contractor is going to tell you, I don't want to save money. So this one has a win-win-win. It wins on saving money, win on the sustainability, and it's a win of using a software to do that. But eventually, you have to go to subscription. Initially, we'll do a cut, and then we move to subscription model.
Thank you for answering the questions. Okay, I think we're good. Thank you for answering the question and for your presentation. I would like to thank the third group of startup for their amazing concepts. They were really inspiring ideas and innovation. Now, before we move to the next group, with group 4, we'll be taking a short break to allow the judges to evaluate their scoring. So we'll meet you soon after 15 minutes. We are thrilled to continue the second half of the session. Let's start and welcome the fourth group of startups. But first, we are thrilled to continue and have the keynote speech delivered by Mr. Senior Executive Vice President from Yokogawa Industries, Mr. Nore Sato.
Hello, good afternoon. Okay. So dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. So my name is Norina Sato, and the Executive Vice President of Yokogawa Middle East and Africa. So on behalf of Yokogawa management, I thank Moyat and the organizers for inviting us to this prestigious event in Abu Dhabi. So we are delighted to attend this prestigious competition that aims to encourage the new startups and the growth of the UAE industrial ecosystem, aligning with the UAE leadership vision of achieving UAE net zero 2050, and fostering sustainable economic development and decarbonization. This is totally aligned with Yokogawa's founding value to contribute to society and our SDG goal 2023 commitment. So today, in fast-changing technology and innovation environment, no single company, organization, or system can resolve challenging issues our world facing now, such as global environmental protection and resource circulation. So we all need to take look for ways, always, to address these issues by first assessing the situation, then sharing information and organically connecting organizations and systems, leveraging the knowledge, expertise, and technologies we had acquired. I am delighted that Moyat and ADNOC are practically leading and demonstrating and implementing this. So Yokoga is committed to sustainability. Our sustainable development goals are designed to support and contribute to society by providing solutions. We utilize our ability to measure and connect in the business areas of energy and sustainability and resolve the issues, challenges of humanity, thereby fulfilling our responsibility to future generations. To foster a sustainable ecosystem, I'm pleased to share that we are inaugurating our Abu Dhabi manufacturing operations for transmitters manufacturing and ICS panel building and integration. So 2 hours before, we just finished inauguration event of setting up our facilities, manufacturing transmitter sensors in UAE. We're going to start manufacturing made in UAE sensors and supply to customers, not only this country, but also globally. So please imagine, made in UAE products start shifting and exporting to the rest of the world. Okay, this is our commitment. I think this is going to be a very, a big event for Yokogawa, and we are so happy to be part of it. Okay, so we conduct business activities that contribute to realizing a sustainable society, and we strive to be responsible and conscientious corporate citizens. As a technology company, we are pioneer in many innovations like a control system, DCS, foundation field bus, wireless, and IA-to-IA industry autonomy. So I wish all the best to all participants and look forward to hearing about the exciting work. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Nore now, thank you for your speech. Now let's welcome the 4th group of startup for their pitch, and welcome all the way from UAE, leaking by hydro wind energy.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to share with you today has all the hallmarks of solving 2 of the biggest challenges of the 21st century: low-cost clean electrical energy and grid-scale energy storage. Oops. Probably about a year ago, I was on one of those virtual conferences, and Bill Gates was being interviewed, and he said that climate tech is going to be producing 8 to 10 Teslas, a Google, an Amazon, and a Microsoft. And Bill Gates does know a thing or two about energy. So ultimately, we're talking about climate tech producing trillion-dollar companies. Climate change is an immense challenge, but at the same time, it's a huge opportunity to do things differently, to do things better. In summary, what we do, we build energy systems. We generate electrical energy, we provide grid-scale energy storage, and how we do that, we harness wind offshore in deep waters in a very, very unique way. I think there's consensus of the impact of climate change. There's no need to reiterate it here. And one of the main causes is our insatiable appetite for energy, that invisible force that is powering the modern world. The reality is that we still source over 90% of our energy from fossil fuels. It's a fact. Setting aside the question or the arguments for nuclear, we need to transition to renewables. But there is an ultimate challenge with renewables in terms of cost, in terms of variability of power, intermittency of power, in terms of power and energy density. Now, this is where we come in. We're developing a very unique system that harnesses wind offshore in deep waters cost effectively. Rather than converting the wind directly to electrical energy, as with conventional wind turbines, we're simply using wind for mechanical lift to lift a heavy mass by a submerged height in the ocean. Electrical energy is then generated when that mass drops with a constant velocity to provide a fixed power output. So it's ultimately a hybrid energy system that combines offshore wind and mechanical-based gravity storage. But one of the things we're not doing is converting wind directly to electrical energy. And by doing so, we're actually solving not one challenge, but several challenges at the same time. First of all, we're actually lowering the cost of electricity to between $13 to $80 per megawatt hour. We're eliminating the variability of wind power because we're not converting it directly to electrical energy. We're harnessing wind up to 40 meters per second. If you compare that to offshore winds, they're currently capped at around 13 meters per second, even for the largest wind turbines in the world. And by doing so, we can actually increase the energy yield by up to 60 times. But average over a year, we say 4 times. We're opening up access to deep-sea offshore wind that is currently inaccessible to conventional wind turbines. 80% of the world's wind resource is offshore, not onshore. In addition to that, we're providing what they call grid services. Renewables are very difficult to manage because they provide fluctuating power into the grid. But because we're building the energy storage capacity with an array, we actually can provide things like frequency control, voltage stability, without getting too technical. And ultimately also energy storage. To really transition to renewables, we need energy storage. And as we build an array of these offshore in deep waters, what we're ultimately doing, we're creating energy storage for the entire grid to provide grid stability. So we're ultimately really talking about a technology that has the potential to make the largest impact possible in the shortest amount of time. We're definitely ambitious. We want to reduce carbon emissions by over 1 billion tons by 2030. Now, to put 1 billion tons of CO2 equivalent, that's about 2% of total carbon emissions globally, or what half of Europe emits per year, or around 5 to 6 times what the UAE emits per year. It's definitely very, very ambitious. This is not really, the technology is not a breakthrough. It's a game changer that can alter the entire dynamics of the energy markets for the better. Where we are in terms of our technology development cycle, it's not really. We're currently at TRL 6, moving to 7, which means we've already built the entire system here in Dubai, integrated it, there's a lot of hydraulics involved, and we're in the process now of actually testing it offshore, off the coast of Fujairah in sea depths of 1,000 meters. It's the first time anything like this has ever been done. And if we're successful, we're going to be building a 1 megawatt demonstrator for next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lee, for your presentation. Any question from our judges? Yes, Rona.
What is the impact of this on the ocean? So the marine life, debris in the water?
Yeah, a very good question. We consider it to be benign, but we still need to do what they call an environmental impact assessment to assess. But it is in deep waters. Most of the life in the ocean is in the first 200 meters. So we're actually deploying this in 1,000 meters, and the block that you saw there is going to 500 meters. The same technology can also, I wanted to add that we can actually use it for seawater desalination as well.
Thank you. Any more questions? Yes.
I have 2 questions, but I'm curious about the time. I think we still have time, right?
We still have time.
I'm very interested in the technicalities of your tech. Could you provide in more details how the hydro-wind energy combines subsea oceanic pressure, altitude, wind, and reverse osmosis to desalinate the water? And how have you validated the technical feasibility and efficiency of this approach?
Yeah, at the moment, the one that we're working on at the moment is with vertical axis wind rotors, and it's like with a gravity-based energy storage, block that drops in the ocean and then you lift it. So we're currently at TRL 6, so we've kind of validated it right up to this point. We're working with Lloyd's Register as well to do the technology qualification and DNV. Yeah, and the same system I didn't want to get into, but you can use subsea pressure to desalinate seawater into fresh water. Well, it's not fresh water, but desalinated water. And you're simply using wind to lift it to the surface. So I can discuss it more with you. But it can either be used for power generation or for seawater desalination. But it requires wind and sea depth.
Thank you. Just one last question. So what's your go-to market strategy and target customer segments? I mean, how do you plan to gain traction and secure partnerships or contracts within the water industry or renewable energy utility scale projects?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, there's significant interest from China all the way to California. Our headquarters is based in California. We're actually based most of the time here, though. Commercialization can go in several different directions. Don't forget, this is it's literally utility companies would be interested in this, but offshore floating platforms, islands. But the idea is we'd be setting up arrays of these with the same infrastructure that you would have for offshore wind. So you'd require cablings and substations to deliver to shore. The closest place for the UAE would have to be Fujairah in the Arabian Sea, or Oman.
Thank you, Mr. Lee, for answering the questions and for your presentation, and thank you for our judges. Now, let's welcome ARK from Japan, Mr. Koyo.
Hello everyone, I'm Koyo, co-founder and CEO of ARK. We make a very unique system for land-based aquaculture, which can make your food on your hand. So our purpose is let the ocean rest and create your own. And our mission is decentralization of aquaculture. So we are trying to create the platform of land-based aquaculture. And therefore, we are creating a small-scale closed recirculation aquaculture system. We are working with web apps. So they are our co-founders, Yo and Sam, and the container behind us is our first prototype. We have started getting used the container, and we built aquarium on our hands and from scratch. So there are three major crises on food security. So we believe that to decentralize aquaculture could be solve this problem. So that we believe that the solution is we are creating aquaculture system for anywhere and anybody. But it's very hard way. So we need 3 years and 5 generations of prototypes. So this is finally we launched our first mass production model in this March. So let me show our short movie of our first delivery. It delivered to University of Ryukyu in Okinawa, Japan. Okinawa is South Island in Japan, and it's very hot area like UAE. So they collaborate with us to make technology with about land-based aquaculture. So this is our product, ARK V1. It's very small. It needs a very small footprint, so you can put anywhere, and it works with automatically. So anybody can use this system. So and it includes very totally system to aquaculture. water capacity is 7.3 tons. So you can make fish or shrimps or something, right? So this illustrates of interior of Arc. There are whole functionality which you need to do land-based aquaculture, like auto feeding or remote sensing or something. Yep. So this is specification. So very need to fewer footprint and works with solar power, and it works automated and connected with IoT technologies. And we also provide smartphone apps. That main feature is real-time monitoring and remote control and timer functionality or data logging functionality. So, and we have started a joint research project with some corporation and universities to expand species which can farm on Arc. It includes fish like grouper or shrimps and seaweed. And we have invested some brilliant companies and VCs in Japan. And there are some use cases. This is a developer, East Japan Railway. And this is for water company. And this is for seafood processing company. And this is for welfare facility. And last but not least, we have approached by academia. So we have exhibited at GITEX in Dubai and COP26 in Glasgow, and we have got various publicities. So we have 6 units solved. We sold 6 units already and 20 back orders, and we are targeting to $70 million in 2025. So we eager to bring our solution to UAE because we strongly believe that we can deliver great impact to solve food security and sustainability. So please let me know if you have any you need to any relationship with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Koyo, for your presentation. Any questions? We have time for one question only. Okay.
I'll probably ask a question, sorry.
Yes.
It's just to understand, 1 unit would provide food for how many people over which period of time?
Okay. In the shrimp case, Japanese consumes shrimp 1 kilogram per year. And this unit can provide 100 kilograms. So 100 people can use this unit. Is that my answer? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Koyo, for answering the question.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Now let's welcome the next startup from Solumar, Rene Popchiva.
Hello, everyone. We are Reni and Sheikh Hassan. We are the co-founders and CEO and Chief Commercial Officers of Solumar. We developed new solutions to reduce emissions in a cost-efficient way for companies like ADNOC, DP World, MR, Emirates Global Aluminium, also supporting the UAE strategy to become the first MENA nation that reaches net zero objectives. Every year, million tons of soot and gases are emitted by maritime, oil and gas, and industrial manufacturers, causing catastrophic events happening now and sea level rising that puts in danger coastal properties, investments, and people. But the problem is that companies don't have the solutions, they don't have the time, and are pushed by increasing number of regulations. And today, they have to choose between options in a range of $10 million per installation, which is high CapEx and OpEx, and those installations are also with limited retrofit capabilities. And
we can solve this problem in a range of ways, ranging from $1 million per installation. With our technology, that captures up to 98% of volatile organic gases, carbon matter, and it's pretty much retrofittable. It is pretty much retrofittable to any industry and works independently. If you look at this slide, you will see that our CapEx and OpEx is 6 to 10 times lower, and on average, it takes about $10 million per premise, whereas we reduce this cost down to up to $1 million. The same solution turns the collected black carbon, which comes out of these exhaust fumes and gas chimneys, which is actually resellable on the open market for up to $3,000 per ton. This black carbon is used in multiple different industries, from rubber industry to ink, plotters, paints, cosmetics, microwave absorption pads and sheets. Our journey actually started when we were doing research and development with the Airbus and Liebherr Aerospace to improve the cabin air quality for private jets. We then bootstrapped the existing technology for customers like Hugh Pharma and Colgate-Palmolive. Currently, we are working with Colgate-Palmolive in one of their Czech Republican factories to reduce the carbon emissions. We have worked in several other industries ranging from recycling industry, wood, boilers, pharma, and electronics. These are our existing customers where we have already proven the model and validated the market. We are currently, by the end of this year, on track with the help of EGA's accelerator program, and we are also part of Innovation Norway, to be on track to do pilots by the end of this year with Saudi Aramco, ADNOC, Abu Dhabi Ports Authority, and the Emirates Group. Because we make it possible for our clients to capture up to 98% of VOCs, particulate matter, and it is very much retrofittable into any existing manufacturing plant, including maritime industry, oil and gas. It's low capex and opex as compared to other options in the market like scrubbers. We bring a lot of value to the existing client base. We are currently addressing a market of $300 billion. And as you can see, compared to the other technology on the market as of today, there is HEPA, or non-woven grid walls, thermal oxidation plasma, or door. And on the extreme left, you can see how we have drastically reduced the operating expense and the upfront capital required to install these. Our global target addressable market size is $300 billion, and within the region alone, it's $14 billion if we talk about GCC. How we make money is we sell the equipment with a current 42% operating margin, gross profit margin, and we can also sell the byproduct, which is the carbon black, which is up to $1,000, and we can do this in a shared revenue where we can rent out the equipment instead of outright selling it to the clients. This is where we're headed in the next 10 years. We believe we can sell 40,000 units to up to 80 clients. Average client would take anywhere between 400 to 500 units, and average unit would cost anywhere between $300,000 to $320,000 US. We have been part of several accelerators within the region, including King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, Hub 71 in Abu Dhabi. We have had an amazing team to back us up. I believe my time is up. I'll leave some further questions. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Any questions from the judges? Yes.
Yeah, maybe just one question. And I actually saw you guys during your unboxing event at Hub 71, so congratulations on all your success. Just a quick question on the technicalities again. Could you explain the working principle of Solomar's air and gas filtering systems, right? So how does it capture such high levels of black carbon and GHG emissions?
Right.
running?
I will jump in. The unit is very compact, and imagine it is designed in a modular way. Imagine Lego toys. Like we have the first model, which is based on aero and fluid dynamics, which is capturing the particles and the black carbon. Then the first model, once captured those pollutants, gives the cleaner air to the second model. The second model is working on a principle of water atomization, which is capturing the volatile organic compounds. And then the third and the last model is based on new plasma vortexes, which is capturing the greenhouse gases, including sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides, and the CO2.
So basically, the equipment is very modular. It has 3 modules, and it's very retrofittable.
I think we had the same question. So do you own the IP of this?
Yes, it's a technology that we developed in-house, and we have all the patents to this.
Thank you for Solimar team for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now let's welcome all the way from Japan, Mr. Kiyotaka Saga from Koji Alchemy.
Hi, my name is Kyo from AgroLudens, Japan. At the beginning, I want to introduce the main character of this presentation, Koji. Koji is a fungi. Koji is a filamentous fungi. Its enzyme produces umami, sweetness, salty, bitterness, sourness, umami. So these 5 is a basic of the taste of food. And the koji is necessary for the Japanese food. This picture shows a typical Japanese food: sushi vinegar, miso soup, soy sauce, pickles. All dishes include the koji. As you know, alchemy refined the base metal into precious metal. Today, I want to report the success of koji alchemy. The ingredients, only 2, rice and koji. At first, we extract the rice protein from rice and mix koji with rice protein. One day, koji alchemy happened within only one day. Rice protein convert to the meat-like material. Koji alchemy refined rice protein into strong umami meat, umami. And this is a gapao we wrap with vegetable, very tasty. And this is a mapo tofu. We can alternate with minced meat. Especially, my recommendation is a bolognese. Bolognese is very good. So umami meat has an enzyme. So this enzyme attacks to the tomato ingredient. So the taste is very complex and tasty. And further product development was carried out with 333 years old koji company. Koji has more than 1,300 history in Japan, and this company is the oldest now, and we operate this production. We have already finished the scale up, and this summer we will start to selling commercial scale. This is an overview of the technology. 1 ton of rice can convert to the 100 kilogram umami and 200 of functional oil. Functional oil is a DHA, EPA included. Umami is a very healthy food, low fat and high protein. But if we put the lipid, the umami enzyme attack lipid, so taste is very good. So Now we focus on the production of the oil from the starch sugar. And this oil production technology can apply to the sustainable aviation fuel. This fermentation work operated by the international fermentation geek from the Japan, French, Cambodia, and Australia. After getting a doctorate degree, I researched the biofuel in the National Institute and university. After that, I joined the board member of the biofuel startup. Just now, I opened my company. And the COO also have the PhD. And she started the career from the grain processing company. And getting a doctorate degree, she opened her own company, food chemical company. But just now, she joined my company. This is a technology assessment. For example, number 135 combined, we can access a huge meat market. And sugar chain adjustment and enhance of the fungi power, we can access a fermented food. And oil production by fungi and oil extraction, access the food oil. And just now, we focus on the jet fuel conversion. We can access the aviation fuel. This is a huge market, and this indicates this technology has a very decarbonization potential, I think. So just now, we are looking for the partner in UAE producing the UMA meat, imported rice. If you have some concern, please contact me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kyo, for your presentation. Any questions from our judges? Thank you, Mr. Kyo. I think we can move to the next presentation. So I would like to welcome Way Out from Sweden for the next presentation, Jenny. Yes, welcome to the stage.
Shukran, Mira. I know I look wonderful, but I'm Martin. Jenny is still up in the stands. Say hi to everyone. Salam alaikum, everyone. My name is Martin Renk. I'm one of the founders of the UAE-based water tech company, Way Out. And I'm here today to speak about how we can future-proof drinking water in the UAE. So first, a little background. As we all know, we have a problem here in Houston and elsewhere. All water problems are local. We know this. But most of the causes to the water problems are actually global. We're all in this room very familiar with the climate change that's going on. Something that we don't mention so often, but it's actually one of the leading causes for the water stress that we're experiencing, is actually population growth. In the past 50 years, we have doubled the population. It's not going from 3 people to 6, it's going from 4 billion to 8 billion. That's a huge increase. And when we talk about the fixed infrastructure in the water supply distribution network, many of those fixed infrastructures are 20, 30, 40, sometimes even 50 years. So you can imagine that the stress on these systems is causing problems on the other end of the consumer. Also, population is causing issues in the form of urbanization. And this region is especially subjected to urbanization. We know that large parts of the people that live and work in the UAE are actually guest laborers or immigrants even. And this, in turn, can cause unexpected stress on the fixed infrastructure that is dug down in the ground and difficult to monitor and difficult to do anything about. So the aging water supply networks lines makes people not trust the municipal drinking water that's actually provided. What happens then? Humans are convenient. Sometimes we're even lazy. So we then turn to the lowest hanging fruit we can find, which is single-use plastic. Every day, 1.5 billion single-use plastic bottles are sold across the globe. Like we saw someone else pointing out here, less than 10% is recycled. Single-use plastic water uses 3 times the amount of treated water than what they actually carry as containers. And 2,000 times more energy is used by single-use plastic water than tap water. So this is actually an energy thief and a climate change causer that we have here. And not to mention the secondary, what do they call it? Downstream problems that we face with leaching forever chemicals and microplastics. They're all over us and inside us and everything. So we can do something about this. We are currently, as we all also know in this room, on a wave surfing towards a green transition, which is wonderful. Lots of stuff is going on. Already today, 98 countries have committed to some sort of single-use plastic ban. The number is growing, of course. We have the 2030 agenda for the SDGs. We have the UAE water security strategy for 2036 that targets a lot of these challenges. We have the 2050 race to zero, and not least the COP28 coming up in just, how many days was it? 100 and something. It's just around the corner. So we have a solution, way out. We develop circular systems for local production and distribution and dispensation of perfect drinking water on a commercial platform with a minimal eco-footprint. What we bring to the world is a 360 system from source to mouth. So we have a microfactory built into a standard 20-foot shipping container in which we produce the water from any source. It's turnkey, delivered plug and play. We distribute the water in refillable stainless steel vessels, food-grade stainless steel, that we also clean in the microfactory. And we dispense the water on our proprietary dispensers. So you need both a digital and a mechanical handshake between those. So it's a closed loop, high integrity, 100% integrity on the contents of the kegs, and it's self-sufficient and autonomous. Like I mentioned, we can take on any source water, salt water, seawater, wastewater, gray water, and we treat the water in several steps. So as not to get the technical question here from you, I'll fire off. So we do sand and iron pre-filter. We do the ion exchanger filter. We do quadruple reverse osmosis. We do the nanofiltration. We do the active carbon filtration. We do the UV light treatment, and we remineralize the water. So we actually produce scientifically perfected drinking water for humans here. Completely automated, it even cleans itself. And like we said, the water is perfect at all times. And we have proprietary technology there. Are we already at 5 minutes?
Yes.
Really?
You have 1 minute, you can.
Okay, thank you. High capacity, 20 cubic meters every day, enough to provide 10,000 people with all they need. Low impact, completely circular, no chemicals are used, no single-use plastic, and no long-distance transport. It's a distributed infrastructure, so it's decentralized, therefore also very robust and resilient. The business model is we offer these for lease, so it's a pay-as-you-go, 20 fills per liter. The revenue per system can be up to 4 million per year, which is quite nice. Some bragging here on this page. We have 5 systems on the ground, won 10 international prizes. We have 90 contracts for 90 systems already today. That's the contract value of $100 million already there. We have international partners. Many of them are based here in the UAE. We're very happy and proud for that. These are some of our ambitions. We aim to deploy 10 systems here this year, 1 in the UAE. Something happened to the PDF, doesn't matter. We are looking for operators in the UAE and business partners here in the GCC and UAE, and of course investors globally.
Thank you, Martin, for your presentation. Any questions from the judges?
Yeah, sorry, just a quick question. Great presentation. So do you need any maintenance or somebody to come to attend to change chemicals and also what happened to the waste, the water that you find?
We have very low waste to begin with that. So we get more than 90% yield out of the system. The traditional yield would be something like 50%. For maintenance and supplies and spares and things like that, we have an international partnership with Alfa Laval. It's a global engineering and manufacturing company. So they do service and maintenance, and also a lot of the components are Alfa Laval, and they do replacement of those. So everything is included in the lease, 20 fills per liter.
Thank you, Martin, for your presentation and for answering the questions. And now let's welcome from India, Basil Energetic Mr. Rama.
Basil Energetics India. I come here to talk about enabling net zero by combining DC appliances and renewable energy. The schematic of this solution is given below, where you can see we are focusing on 3 areas. One is sustainable cooling, second is water, third one is electric mobility. The existing rooftop solutions have the problems which are enumerated here. The power grid or PV panel charges a battery through a charge controller, and then it is inverted to run the existing AC appliances. Because the existing AC appliances have got large starting currents and lower efficiency, you end up with a bigger inverter, battery, as well as the PV panel. So overall, it is low efficiency and high cost. Our solution is depicted in this slide. The heart of the solution is that iGrid. It is a smart nano grid to which different power sources can be connected. Battery is also optional. And from the iGrid, DC is directly given to the DC appliances, like air conditioner, pump, cold room, other appliances also, like fan, refrigerator, freezer, all these things. I have given here because they are the energy guzzling equipments. The solution combines distributed generation, energy efficiency using DC, smart grid, and IoT. Both the iGrid and the DC appliances are IoT enabled. It can be controlled and monitored remotely. This solution enables net zero quickly. What is the value proposition? For the customer, it is the reduced capex and reduced rooftop area. Zero net energy is enabled, and the OpEx also comes down. Actually, compared to a AC system, the DC system reduces the energy consumption by about 70%. And the impact of this solution is the UN SDGs 6, 7, 9, and 13 are directly impacted. 3, 8, 11, and 12 are indirectly impacted. The market for this product, I am more focused on, this slide is more focused on Indian market. The HVAC market is very fast growing, and it is expected to, the penetration is expected to go from 7% to 25%. The value will be about $11 billion only for India. The cold storage market is expected to double in 2 years and will be worth about $20 billion. The solar pump is also becoming very important because most of the governments are now, for both the central and as well as the state governments are encouraging that. And the pump for booster systems and micro irrigation, the high pressure pumps, they are growing at a very healthy rate of 8 to 10%. As far as the electric vehicles are concerned, taking only the two-wheelers, which is very popular in India, McKinsey Center for Future Mobility estimates the demand at 5 million units by 2025. We have already done more than 60 pilot installations in Chennai and Bangalore. one important feature is most of the component subsystems in this are multifunctional. For example, the same air conditioner is used for HVAC as well as cold storage. Pump is also similar, the same pump, but number of stages are increased. There are two case studies I would like to say. One is the dairy farm near Bangalore, where with the solar plant with the biogas generator available from the cow dung there, we have made that farm practically independent of the grid. Other one is a home in Chennai, similar proposition. The present competition in India is mostly directed towards lights and fans, the rooftop market, whereas we don't have any such restrictions. The high power appliances are addressed. The financials for first 5 years are given for Indian market alone, and it has got a healthy IRR of 150% plus, and we are actually looking for investment of about $6 million, and the funds will be deployed in the pie as per the pie chart given there. Mainly manufacturing infrastructure, market development, e-commerce platform, and R&D. We have won several international awards, and most of our products have been tested globally in globally reputed labs, like the one in Regent Laboratories in Netherlands, TUV, Germany. They have tested all these things. And one important thing I would like to note before concluding is the Mission Innovation Sweden has estimated that for a 1.5-ton air conditioner, at 10% of the market share in India at 2018 volumes, the savings will be about 28.5 million tons of greenhouse gases. With this, I come to a conclusion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rama, for your presentation. Any quick questions from the judges? Okay, we can move to the final presentation, vFlow, from Singapore, Mr. Abhishek.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anvesh Madabushi. I am the Vice President of Product Management at vFlow Tech, a Singapore-based company. We started 5 years ago in 2018 with a team of 2. Today, we are 50. We provide reliable and long-lasting energy storage solution. Addressing climate change issues has become a top priority for several countries. At COP27, it was great to see several countries come together and set goals and policies towards net zero emissions by 2050. That's 27 years from today. Achieving the goals is a very complex task. Renewable energy being at the forefront alone will not enable energy transition. This is because when the sun doesn't shine or the wind doesn't blow, there is no consistent supply of energy to meet all our demands. That's where you need long-duration energy storage. And we at vFlow Tech have a solution to be an enabler, one of the enabler. Sorry. The market for energy storage is huge. As we all know, renewables are going to increase. There's going to be a need of battery everywhere in the utility scale storage. $120 billion, 250 gigawatt hour of in the next 10 years. There are many energy storage technologies, but flow battery has a sweet spot. Power and energy are decoupled. The power can range from kilowatt to megawatt. The energy can range from kilowatt hour to megawatt hour. And this flexibility allows you to have longer backup times up to hours and days. We at vFlow Tech built the vanadium redox flow battery. Its electrolyte is stored in the tank as energy, pumped into the stack, where the redox reaction occurs to charge or discharge using the different states of vanadium. These batteries do not degrade. It has a life of up to 25 years. They are safe to use. It doesn't catch fire, no thermal runaway. They're 100% recyclable. You can put them back into the circular economy. Historically, vanadium redox flow batteries have had several challenges. One such challenge was it could not operate in hotter climate, 40 degrees Celsius and above. We at vFlowTech resolved all such challenges and deployed it in the form of our product, PowerCube, an optimized chemistry with our unique IP, an organic additive that allows a longer thermal window, up to 55 degrees Celsius, where the batteries can operate. As a result of research for 10 years, we have filed more than 7 patents and 30 publications. Our portfolio ranges from small-scale to mid-scale to large-scale products for various applications, giving a backup of up to 5 to 10 hours. Applications such as replacing your diesel gensets, integrating it with renewables, grid balancing, and various others. So far, we have deployed across 7 countries in the Asia-Pacific region, and today we are here to expand our footprint to the Middle East by visioning to make it in the Emirates. This is an island near Singapore called Pulau Bin, today powered by diesel. We have partnered with EDP and Schneider to decarbonize the island. Our 1 megawatt-hour battery solution gives a backup of up to 24 hours. We tested our product in the refinery island to operate at 50 degrees. After having passed successfully, it gave us the confidence to go for a large-scale project, and we backed the project with JTC to deploy our clean energy innovation using existing tanks in the refinery island and recycled vanadium to power the batteries and power the loads. This is one of its kind, a mosque that will be net zero. It has solar PV, our batteries, and a smart energy management service. Today, with pride, I'd like to say our technology is scalable to gigawatt-hour scale, using our scalable tank and containerized solution, which can operate at extreme temperatures and also use recycled vanadium from industrial waste to enhance circularity. vFlowTech is a member of the Green Corridor project in Indonesia, targeted to develop 36 gigawatt-hour of energy storage solution. With such solution, tomorrow we will be able to power a city like Neom. To scale up our production and R&D, we are entering next round of fundraising. So far, we have raised up to 14 million, closed our Series A in December 22, and with our plans for 100 megawatt-hour by 2025, we will be raising 100 million in the next round, 15 equity, 15 debt for energy storage as a service. If anyone's interested to partner in the next round, then do contact me. We not only sell batteries, but also have value-added energy management services. In addition, we sell our high-value components, the power stack. We are led by a team of technopreneurs and scientists who are experts in solar, fuel cell, flow battery, and power conversion system, and advised by veterans from the flow battery industry, senior partners from McKinsey who know the business know-how. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Abhishek, for your presentation. Any questions from the judges? Yes, Mr. Suleiman.
Just one question. So great presentation. Thanks for that. So how scalable is the vFlow manufacturing process for vanadium redox flow batteries, and what is the production capacity and timeline for scaling up to meet the current demand?
The current demand, okay. So this year we are targeting about 7 megawatt hour. Going forward, next year and 2025, we want to go up to 100 megawatt hour. It is just the production footprint that we could put. We have the plans in place. And as we raise capital, we'll be able to go to the 100 megawatt hour by 2025. And then with the order pipeline, we can go to gigawatt hour.
Thank you, Mr. Abhishek, for answering the questions, and thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
A special thank you note to our fourth group of startup.
Sorry, I'm Anvesh Madabushi. Dr. Abhishek was caught up, so he could not join today.
Okay, no worries. Thank you. So As I mentioned, a special thank you note for our fourth group of startups for their amazing presentation, and thank you for our judges for carefully evaluating and scoring these presentations. We will be announcing the top 8 scored startups from both sessions based on the evaluation from the judges, on the concept, how the pitch was delivered, the commercialization aspect, the idea and how it's relevant to the market, plus the sustainability impact of the technology. Before we announce the qualified startup who will move to the final round and compete tomorrow, we'll be taking a short break to finalize the scoring and we'll be back shortly. Thank you all. Thank you all for your patience. And after careful evaluation, we are proud to announce the top 8 qualified startup who will compete in the final round tomorrow. And the top 8 qualified who will move to the day 2 of the competition in not critical order, and they are VFlowTech, Way Out, Nadira Technologies, Connex System, and from Saudi Arabia, Sahar Flow Solution, Vase, and from UAE, Farman. And last but not least, the Food Engineer. Congratulations to the top 8 startups. Your journey in this competition is not over yet. We eagerly anticipate your final presentation tomorrow. The stage will be ready for you to wow us once again. To all the startup who has participated in this event in the first round today, we want to extend our appreciation for your efforts and encourage you to continue your entrepreneurship journey. What an exciting day it has been. The startup competition has showcased remarkable ideas and concepts today. The qualified 8 startups from the 2 sessions will be competing again tomorrow in the final round. 3 winners will be announced, and they will receive a monetary award from our sponsors as the following. The first winner will get 100,000 dirham by Aspire. The second winner, 70,000 dirham by our industry sponsor, Schneider Electric and Yokogawa. The third winner, 50,000 dirham by Catalyst. These monetary awards are not only a token of appreciation, but also an investment in the future success of these startups. So mark your calendar tomorrow at 3 p.m. and be present, where we will continue to witness the remarkable innovations by our startup. Thank you to our partner, thank you to our judges, and thank you all for joining us today. See you tomorrow. Thank you.